13. I am now the reincarnation of Eli, I guess. And I was called in. Uh-oh. 3rd one, you're out. Hello there. Against my will, please send help. I Hey, busy. I've been at it since, 2 PM. It's 7 or it's 2 AM. It's 7 PM now. Been a long day. Working on, writing project and, working, dinner. It's been a day. Yep, it's been that way. Yeah. Yep. But it's a grind. I'm, doing alright, things are coming along, projects moving. I'm at the mercy of other people, which, it sucks, it's slow, but, it's coming along. I can't complain, and we're just making progress day by day. And eventually, that thing that I keep saying will be coming will finally show up, and it won't be this fish story. It was this big. No, 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 no. It was this big. No, it was this big. It'll eventually show up, I promise. My one right there. Cool. Mhm. Mm. Yeah. Your own, like, creations and stuff like that. Have you enjoyed that process of creating it? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I'm listening. Oh, wait, I got it muted in another way. Never mind, I can't hear it.
Microphone. Now it's working.
Whoops.
I didn't check that, but Streamlabs changed my microphone settings on me while I wasn't looking.
I hate when that happens. There's been many a time where I've shown up
Discord
and,
does it like I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't default that, but thank you,
it
Nico.
should.
Thank you and welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for pointing that out. Uh yeah, no, the process for the TTRPG has been pretty cool, and it's based off of the anime High Rise Invasion. So I kind of want to do this like horror thriller, modern day
Okay.
uh, fantasy it's not, not wizards and your normal classic D&D stuff, but it's more modern day. It is magical. It
Yeah.
is kind of
But you'll still have like the class aspects and stuff like that baked into it, just
well,
not like
not
it's not the
really.
traditional wizard and knight.
The thing that I've come up with, like, so I've made, I've created 12 characters right now,
Okay.
in all like random walks of life people.
Okay.
Oh, this is Nightingale. Sorry if you missed the intro because I did intro it, but my microphone was not on and I didn't see that. This is Nightingale 1176. He's a friend of mine, a fellow streamer. He's the one that helped me set my stream up initially. We've been friends for what, 3-4 years now? Yeah,
Four?
4. Yeah,
It
going
was
on 4
right
years.
right at the beginning of COVID, before
Yeah.
COVID era.
Yep. Yeah, he
while.
streams early in the morning. He streams a lot of BDO right now is kind of what you've been grinding on again, and then you also streamed a lot of gotcha games.
I'm all over the place. I'm just trying. Honestly, I'm just keeping myself entertained is what I do. It's Minecraft some days. Like we're about to do a heavy a heavy binge on Minecraft. BDO has just been keeping us busy, and
I should make the title.
Honestly, it's just been we've been doing whatever. Like I got to the point where I no longer tunnel vision one game. I learned that long ago. Tunnel visioning one game's horrible for you, and um my life became so much easier on stream, not going, man, I can't, I really want to go play this, but I can't, because if I do, my account's going to drop, and then I can't progress. It's my Twitch numbers, and who cares? Go have fun. What I'm doing.
Yeah. It's a, I mean, this Twitch thing is a rough go at it, especially for me, because I am not, the podcast is the first thing I've been consistent on in a long time.
It has been,
and I want to get back
really
to
since your seven Deadly Sins days too, because you were pretty consistent playing that for a while.
Yeah,
getting into it, getting that streaming base going.
Yeah, and I was doing Odyssey at the same time.
Yep, that was fun. That was a great time, chat. Y'all missed out on a really, really, really fun time. Watching him play Assassin's Creed Odyssey was one of the highlights for me. I really enjoyed that. The Tomb Raider you jumped in on was good too. I watched that. Of course, you were having frame issues with it at the time.
Yeah, well, I was just getting into the PC game really kind of in the beginning, so I didn't know what I built my own PC, worked, but it wasn't built for streaming, which is why I built it initially. I just didn't build it correctly. So, I've put more money in it, which poor Eli's kind of going through that too.
Yeah.
I picked out a computer for him. I said, this will probably get you. I said, the first thing you need to upgrade on is the RAM. It came with 16 gigs RAM. I said, you need to upgrade to 32. And it's a pretty cheap upgrade.
I think I've got 16 gigs tied up right now in Google Chrome.
Yeah, I know, man. Like everything just eats it. And then if you're trying to run Streamlabs and a stream and the game and whatever, it just gets ate up quick. So in some of these games too, like that's the crappy part because you don't know what games are optimized well. Some of them are super heavy CPU usage, and even a 6-core processor, which should be fine.
It's terrible.
You end up getting screwed,
Black Desert's literally one of those games. Looks amazing, awfully optimized, and it won't be until they release the Crimson Desert single player where they'll actually optimize that engine they created. So yeah, no, it's gaming. It's just, I think as PC gamers, it's just something we have to accept. It's a dice roll every time.
Yeah.
The game is either going to look amazing, play amazing, or it's going to run like crap. And, then you're going to scratch your head going, well, that game runs. Just because your PC comes up and the achievement at the bottom of your screen says achievement unlocked, can run Crysis, doesn't mean it can run Crysis, all right? And that's just, something that people just have to get into because Tomb Raider may be perfectly optimized for your computer. It works well. DLSS 3, it has ray tracing. Then you jump over to Cyberpunk, and it may run like absolute crap. Why? Because one driver difference off. If you rolled it back one driver, it runs perfectly. But the new driver they just released yesterday is completely garbage. Then you go back to a game that came out in 1999, and it runs at 300 frames a second in 4K. Why? Because it can.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the crazy part about the gaming stuff now, and you know. And most modern games, honestly, they're crap when they first come out. Anyway, you got to wait for 3 patches
they're rushing
before
them
they're
at this point.
Yeah.
We came up in an era where the game was done right.
Yeah.
When we got that console, when we put that cartridge into our Nintendo 64, yes, it still had bugs, but the product was way better then than what they're doing now, because now they're like, we can just patch it. Back then it was, when we shipped this cartridge, it's done. This is it. This is all they're going to get.
And DLC characters were just hidden characters that you had to find in the game, or find somebody that knew how to unlock. Or find the
cheat code books that you'd buy in the grocery store. You flip over and go, I'm going to write this down real quick. Thank you very much, and I leave. That's not stealing. It's just borrowing information.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to buy that book. I was not buying that book, so I just got the one code. Listen. I'm not going to spend $14 on a book that I'm only going to use one code in. If I was going to use multiple codes, sure, I would buy it. But I used one code, so I borrowed a number.
Right.
Remember, and then Game Sharks existed. Yeah. Then once those came out,
Cheat Code Central was a website. I wonder if that even still works.
I forgot about that.
I did too, till just now. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Cheat Code Central and see.
Is it still live?
At cheatcc.com.
Oh gosh,
still live. Published 2 days ago. They're actually like posting news stuff on here, I guess. Matt.
That is a
Paroguru.
Very, very old website. Dinosaurs grew up with this.
There's not even cheat codes anymore.
Oh, it's not?
Well, I mean, is there not cheat codes in games anymore?
Occasionally, some games still put it in, depending on who the developer is. There will be codes that you can redeem in them. But the cheat code days of like Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 are long gone.
They've got guides and walkthrough stuff on here and news, but I don't see like a cheat code tab on here anymore. Crazy.
It's probably gone away to, lost knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. How many people are going out and searching for Super Smash Brothers 64 all character unlock code?
Yeah, it's called a credit card.
It's
called the 16 numbers on the back of your credit card. That's how you unlock all the characters.
Yes, and the 3-digit or 4-digit, depending on who you own, security code. You input that code, and guess what, chat? You get everything you want.
Anything you want for that.
Yep. Sky's the limit. So is your credit score.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy part about these days. It just. And here's another thing that AAA has been. They've been stomping on their own. They've been stomping on their own feet here recently. Like, they just haven't released anything that's worth anything. Like they continuously put out bomb after bomb after bomb, and this Sweet Baby Inc. thing. It may not be the company that's actually in, but the companies like them, this diversity and inclusion, blah blah blah, and it's people don't want to play shit like that. And I mentioned this on last week's podcast. Is like the modern audience is a myth, because if the modern audience was a real thing, and the way they keep like pandering to the modern audience, then they would be the ones buying the tickets. They would be the ones buying the games and all this shit. But they're not spending any money either, and they're losing their butts on it. So
I think one thing that we're dealing with now is like, I don't necessarily mind an inclusion and all this type of stuff. Don't force it. If it works, great, cool. Yeah. Put it in the story. Tell a story with it. I'm a person, especially as somebody like who's in a writing mentality near 24/7 at this point. If I write something and it feels forced, I reevaluate that, because I want it to. You want a story to flow naturally and not feel like it would be like in a way, and this isn't to like pick on anybody. It would be like all of a sudden Superman's black
Right.
or he's Chinese. Superman has always been Clark Kent,
Yeah.
and
Except
it's
when he
like
was
Clark.
whatever when he landed in Russia in one of the universes.
That's true. That is one. But the idea is, it's not that Superman can't be black if it's told the right way, but just to force it down somebody's throat to say we made a black Superman, that's the part that bugs me because
Right.
it's like, why not just tell a cool story with a whole new idea of Superman
Right.
versus trying to mold this thing to not do that? So
Yeah. It comes
think
in
that's what
with the
makes trouble.
writing. Yeah, it comes in with the writing for sure. Like, and the
Mhm.
writing's just crap, and that's the biggest problem that they're having. They don't know how to write, and they try to force this stuff in and edit these talking points and add and force this crap in, and
Mhm.
people are like, "This sucks. It doesn't make any sense, and it's
Yeah.
bad." So to me, that's what aggravates me the most about it.
Yeah.
Like, and apparently, they've ruined like I don't know if ruined is the correct word. I haven't played these games yet, but I've heard like so Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, whichever one for the PlayStation.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation,
Yeah,
the one with Miles Morales.
the first one, I freaking love that game.
Mhm.
It was amazing. I platinumed it. I beat it twice or whatever.
Mhm.
a great game, great story. Miles Morales was in the game. I don't have a problem with Miles Morales. I've never have.
He's
If
an
he's
interesting
done
character.
if he's done right, and normally he is. And then second one, supposedly this Sweet Baby Ink company come in, and it's like it's much less universally loved, and a lot of people are saying it's
Okay.
buggy. It's the stories doesn't make any sense sometimes.
Yeah.
So they screwed it up, and they also screwed up.
Forced writing does this because
Yeah,
if you're when you're telling a narrative from a writing standpoint, you need to have a constant of where your story's going, but you also need these branching cool lines that come around and tell
yeah,
stories. Where continuity gets lost is you have to remember games aren't written normally by one person on story.
no,
It's a collaboration of many people. Without the right editors at the end of this line is where I think things are getting lost, that you're not able to tie these ideas in. But then when you have executive come in and says, no, this story right here you threw out has to make it in because we need this handicapped um magical wheelchaired mage because
right,
we have to. And it's like, but if he's got magic, why can't he levitate his chair and fly around? Or
okay,
is, I could insert a dad joke, but I'm going to leave it be because it would be too apparent.
right. So okay, think about Professor Xavier, one of the most popular characters of all time, mentor for the X-Men and stuff,
Mhm.
was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Was a great character, always was.
It's insanely well written. And it's not
Insanely
inclusive.
real.
It's just a well written character.
Yeah, and you think about like so you jump
And he's
back.
bald.
So there's the thing about the X-Men '97. Have you seen anything about this?
Mm-mm.
So Disney,
If we're talking about like
yeah, this is current.
original X-Men 97 that I grew up watching,
So
sure. But I mean, it's been forever since I've seen it because.
right, well, Disney is starting up a new animated series called X-Men '97. It takes place
Okay.
directly after the X-Men animated series ended in 1997.
Okay, so
It's
I
supposed to
thought
be
it was just a what do
reboot.
you call it? No, a remaster of that. Like it
Yeah,
was them rescanning like what they did with Dragon Ball Z, where they
yeah.
rescanned all the frames and brought it up to like modern technology. So it's not that.
No,
It's
it's
literally
yeah,
original what we watched ends, and now this show goes.
yeah,
Okay, I did not know that.
yeah.
I hadn't
And
had time to look into it.
could be it could be a really cool thing if it was done with
Okay.
enough love and care that by fans of the original, 1997 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's being done by that, and they're trying to force all
Okay.
this other stuff in. But like I said, because it shows like it ends, Professor X passes on at the the very
Mhm.
last episode he passes on,
Mhm.
and then like this one picks up,
The moment after that
weeks
type
or
stuff.
months, after or whatever.
Okay.
Like, but it's supposed to be like a continuation of
Okay.
the original
Yeah.
animated series. What they've done, you keep hearing all this stuff about like, well, Morph is going to be non-binary because he's a shapeshifter. but he's always been
Okay.
male in the comic books. Like that's just he's always identified as male or whatever, which wasn't even a thing identified as. Like he's always been a man. Whatever.
Okay.
That one, okay, whatever. I can. It's aggravating. I can let that stuff slide. But then they're talking
I'll
about
buy it.
like they're gonna girl boss Storm, put her in a business suit and stuff like that. Which, okay, if it's not too overt, whatever.
You know what they're doing with it? I could see
But
her running companies and stuff like. She's from what I remember,
yeah,
Storm's a very smart woman
right.
to begin with.
But okay, but their biggest offense so far is they took away Rogue's cake. She no longer has an ass in this new animated series. So fuck them.
What, no, 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 no. Whoa, 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 whoa. Our girl Rogue was. You can't do that to. That's just no. Don't do that to her. Rogue. Oh, come on.
Have you seen this? I don't know. I'll look it
No.
up. There's an image side by side of the.
I've got your stream pulled up so I can see it,
I'm gonna switch.
and I'll be on the delay. Put it right about there.
Got Streamlabs in the middle of both of my screens. So I gotta find.
So they got rid of Rogue's cake. Oh man,
So
that's a crime against humanity. Okay, we see it rolling up. See all the good.
come on, load.
There are some images on there that I'd like to see a little higher res, but we're not.
Okay, so this is the top one is the original 1997, and then this is the new like some of the new footage or whatever of Rogue. So they took her cake away.
Yeah, they're definitely no longer emphasizing. But here's the thing, too. Now, I do need to slightly defend this.
Yeah, this is a bad still from a thing, but like so.
And that's what I was about to say. Is you have to realize that for people who don't understand animation, animation has a few different frames. The lead animator draws 3 frames of a movement. So if let's say Rogue's moving on a scene. The lead animator draws the first frame, the middle action frame, and the final frame. Then there's an animation person who comes in and draws the in-between frames. This was one of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super's biggest offenders. Those in-between frames were horrible. And most of the still grabs you end up seeing, now I'm not saying the original animation wasn't crap of it, because there were some pretty bad things, but those in-between frames were mostly what people would grab. And they're not as high detailed because of the way framing works. You're not
okay.
going to see it.
So look here, we got Rogue. So you can see some more definition in the bodysuit. They took a lot of that definition out, and you're thinking,
She's
okay,
a
well
lot
that's
less
animation.
shiny.
But if you look over here at Gambit, they added more definition to Gambit. Same. So all the women they've taken some of the definition from their costumes, but the men
they're probably saying it's
added,
over.
And
I was gonna say Storm kind of got an upgrade.
Storm doesn't look bad. I'm not crazy about that hair. I like.
No, I'm saying hair. It's not about the hair. I'm just saying her curve upgrade. She's definitely showing the shadows and a little bit better.
Well, that's the thing. So like, you don't even see Rogues. You know.
Yeah, they took her shine away.
The art style is the same kind of art style as like Archer.
Okay.
That's the kind of art style that this one's going to be.
I can get behind that.
Which isn't bad, but at the same time, it's just one of those things. So
because especially if they're trying to, because here's the thing, they could do this one of 3 ways. 1, try to copy it to make it look original to literally fit. If we splice them together, they could colorize these things to look like old school.
Yeah.
But then they've got you could take it a step further. You could make this now look insanely better if you wanted. You know, really go out there and make it look like a real modern cartoon. But
yeah, and I don't know if I think some of the voice actors are different. Of course, I don't know if some of them may have passed on by now. I don't really know.
It's 97's when it's 96 really probably when they did this.
So we got a pregnant Jean Grey here.
Okay.
She's pregos. We got Cable. I don't know who this is. Is that Gambit? I guess that's Gambit. It's just in a weird rag. So super weird.
I see Negasonic in the back. I see. Of course,
that's Jubilee.
Oh, that's Jubilee.
This is Jubilee.
Okay.
This little blank thing, that's Morph. and then and Morph
Okay.
is going to be portrayed as like the shapeshifter, gray alien looking thing. So,
Okay.
so they said they've taken out. They're not having. Colossus won't be a main part of it like he was, and Archangel will not be a main part of
What?
it. And
Two of the major X-Men of this?
so they're replacing it with Morph is coming back as his main staple character, and Cable. That those are who's going to
Okay.
replace the other two
Are
token
they
white
gonna?
characters. So they replaced them with. It's whatever. I don't have a problem with that either. Not really. Um,
I mean, now here's the thing: are we gonna be getting Cable with like, um, what's his name? Josh Brolin?
no, not Cable. What is this guy's name? This isn't Cable. This is he's
Crap.
another
I'm trying to remember.
future warrior. He's from the future. His name. It's not because Cable is still white in the thing. This is
Is that Bit? No.
Bishop. Yes, Bishop.
Okay.
Yes,
Bishop. Yep.
that's who that is. I got those mixed up. Yeah, Bishop and Cable, which
Okay.
they have roughly the same power set. Really, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, Bishop can like absorb stuff and shoot it back. I
Mhm.
think is his power, and I think Cable's is roughly the same.
Okay.
Um.
So interesting.
So yeah. So
Also, I'm just glad to see Wolverine's portrayed at the right height. That's all that matters to me. Is
right.
he's not Hugh Jackman. I mean, let's be real. I'm ecstatic Hugh Jackman's coming back for Wolverine. Let's
Right.
just go out and just say that. That's amazing. I can't wait to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh go head to head in this. But it's great to see Wolverine actually properly drawn out for once, and not.
But we'll see. We'll also see what they do with Rogue as well.
Mhm.
If they, because she was, I loved her character in the original Bishop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I loved Rogue's character in the original '97, and then they kind of screwed with her with the Anna Paquin or whatever played. Like I didn't
Okay.
hate that in the live action, but at the same time, it wasn't like I was wanting the other Rogue.
Yeah, I get that.
Um,
Makes sense.
but anyway, so that's kind of that's kind of was the deal with '97
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
dropped on us,
that was news to me.
and we'll see if it's woke crap. I've seen that there's a headline running out right now. One of the writers, producers,
Mhm.
excuse me, just got fired from the '97
Uh-oh.
show.
Uh,
He already got fired, and there's like, so I haven't watched any of the videos or nothing about it yet. I've just seen the headlines. So we'll see. Of course, there's oh my gosh, so many layoffs and crap in the entertainment industry right now. Anyway,
yeah, I've been hearing about that.
I think there was
That's it,
another 900. I think I saw another 900 PlayStation
this has
employees.
to be COVID bloat, honestly. From where everything had to ramp up this production coming out because things just
Well,
kept going, and now it's like they're like, "Oh, wait, we can't actually." Because if it's the entertainment industry in general, when that ramp up hit, the consumption was huge. So yeah, we need more people. We got to get this stuff going. I'm wondering if that's really what this has all been about.
well, I think there's that. I think it's also kind of hit hard. They've lost a crap ton of money.
I
Um,
guess if you say the go woke, go broke thing,
I mean,
is this really what's happening?
they've consistently kept putting out. Well, you think about like Warner Brothers they've been tripping over their feet for the last year and a half anyway. Not just with the video game
Mhm.
part, but with movies and stuff. They flat out
Mhm.
canceled Batwoman and did not release that. It was all but done. Like it was in like the final processes of being released, and
Mhm.
canned it. And it with them canning it actually made them it lost less money than like the Flash or whatever because
Wow.
the Flash did not make its money back. Aquaman did not
Yeah.
make its money back. Um, and then
Tax write-offs at that point.
they dropped Suicide Squad, which I saw when I first saw the trailer for Suicide Squad last fall, that placed the video game awards or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a terrible idea. Like this is not going to do good at all. Um, and yeah, Elon Musk is going to own Disney soon. Yeah, and maybe TikTok too at this point. Who knows?
I don't think
Um,
he's got the liquid assets to do TikTok unless they sell it to him at a steal.
well, there was a rumor that Rumble may buy TikTok or whatever. Which
Mm.
if that was the case, if Rumble ended up buying that, And the thing is, like, really, they only need to because I was listening to a thing like they really only need to sell like a 1% share that the Chinese government has control of. If they sell
Hmm.
that 1% share to a local entity, to an actual United States entity,
Hmm.
then it can keep existing like it has been. But they're
Okay.
refusing to sell it, and they're trying to call America's bluff and say that they won't just flat out delete it. And I hope they do flat out delete it. And hey, look, we said we're going to, and they do. And then it makes them think, like, it's whatever. I don't have the app anyway, and don't really care to.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, there's a lot to
That's
it.
why I hadn't been on my Twitter. That's why I hadn't seen on my TikTok feed any mayonnaise chase videos showing up of you
Yeah,
dancing or twerking on it.
none of that, not yet. I did try to do some shorts. I need to work on. There's a couple AI programs that you can just drop your YouTube video in, and it'll like
Hmm.
run through and find spots and like create shorts out of them and caption them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I did a few of those. I need to do some more. I also need to go back and clip out some of my like rants and stuff and make independent
Yeah.
YouTube videos
Your
out of
rants are
that.
good.
Um, I need to do that stuff, and
Okay.
I just get sidetracked. Ended up playing video games too much. I need to quit the quit the casual gaming stuff so
Yeah.
much. Stick to like make myself stream game. Like if I'm gonna play games, I need to be streaming. Like be making myself do that.
I
That's
mean, for me, that's what stream is for me. It's my 3 hours a day to do whatever I want on stream.
that's what I
When
need
those
to
three
do.
hours are done, it's off. And I mean, it sucks. I want to be. Uh, I would like to have that time to where for a little bit, I broke that rule at dinner time. As soon as I finished dinner, I would sit down. I'm like, if I'm going to do anything for myself, it's this 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's just me off stream, nothing, and it would be that. Just because I was getting to a point with writing where I needed a mental break because it's not that I was writer block or anything like that. It
Right.
was just my brain physically said, I need to stop. I need to just stop for a while. So I started doing that just to help ease that up because of the mental just fatigue of staying in that creative mind space. That's where my free time went. But after that, um, it's 3 hours in the morning, and then the rest of my day and prior to the day is work. And you need that mental space. And I think for you specifically, you're out, you're working all day, you've got an early morning. So the early stage of your day isn't that. For you, I think recreational gaming for you really needs to be fun, quickly engaging because your mind is getting tired. You're wanting to shut down. You don't want to put that intense detail because, for instance, we talked this morning on stream about Black Desert. I can play Black Desert at a accountant level mathematical formula. Ask me to do that at 9 o'clock at night, my brain's gonna go, all right, hold on here 1 second. Let me oh nope, yep, my brain just says I'm done. And I couldn't do it, but I have the mental capacity in the mornings to play a game that way. For you, I think it's more about coming on, chilling out, having some fun, getting that quick engagement
Yeah.
and getting away from it.
It's also nice to like jump in with a group of buddies and play like
Mhm.
a multiplayer match type game, which is what I'm digging with like.
Getting it out.
Yeah, well, I was digging Helldivers. I'm kind of one of those
Burnt.
things, man. It's not. Yeah, I didn't like their balance patch, and then everybody's like, "Oh, kind of get good." And I don't like that mentality. You tell me that shit. I was like, "Well, I just don't want to play your game no more." Screw you. Um,
Yeah.
it's still fun. It's still fun on like some of the lower, like medium level hardness is still kind of fun. But the
Yeah.
thing is, you need like the more challenging stuff to get these rare mats to unlock the better stuff, and then it's just it gets aggravating. And they're like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be completing everyone. So you mean I should play for 40 minutes and then die at the very end and fuck off?" You know what I mean? Like that's just wasting my time. And if you're gonna waste my time,
Yeah.
I can do that other ways.
Yep.
That's the way I see it. I don't
There
like.
are websites that are wonderful for wasting
Yeah, I
time.
just don't. I just don't. I don't like that mentality. Like if I'm gonna play a game, if it's it's different still yet than like even Dark Souls. Like if
Okay.
when I first started playing, Elden Ring was like probably my first Souls-like game that I've like went all in on. I've played
Yeah.
other ones that never really got me that much, but like Elden Ring, I went in
Okay.
on it. And the first boss, I was on stream and I fought him for 2.5 hours and died. 2.5 hours.
Over and
It was like
over.
100 deaths or something. Plus, I don't know. It was crazy.
So,
And
I mean, that's a Souls game. If you're not familiar
yeah,
with how to play the mechanics, it is
yep,
brutal on
yep.
somebody.
Well, and then after I figured it out, I was like, okay, well now I'm just gonna friggin' power level, and I leveled, and I found weapons that I enjoyed, and I really enjoyed the game. Like, well, and I got to the point where I was strong enough I could confidently roll in, fight a boss. You know, it may kill me a few times, but once I figured out its quirks or whatever, I could fight it back and
Mm.
did okay. And that's some people don't
Nice.
like to play like that. That was my play style. Also, kind of figured
Yeah.
out as I played Bloodborne on the
Okay.
PlayStation. And I put about, I don't know, I got about probably 20 hours, 25, 30 hours into the game and
Mhm.
like figured out the play loop. I figured out the leveling and all this stuff. The thing that burnt me about the game was I was still using the same weapon 20 hours in. And I could have got a different weapon, but it would have been so low. Like I've already leveled this one up, so I would have to start over again. But with Elden Ring, like it was dropping new equipment like every 20, 30 minutes. I'd get a new shiny new toy or whatever, and that kept that
I play with
dopamine
this.
drip going in me.
Yeah.
That I enjoy. Now you give me a
Okay.
game where I keep the same weaponry for like 25, 30 hours, and I know there's other stuff out there, but I can't really afford to waste my time with it because I'm leveling this one up. That's the fastest way to lose me in a game.
Okay.
Just because, like, I want to play with the other stuff. I want to do these other play
So then,
styles.
how did you play in Skyrim then? Is
I
that a different type of loot system for you?
Skyrim. I didn't finish. I didn't finish Skyrim. I've never
Okay.
finished any Bethesda game. I've never actually beaten any of them. I don't think I've done things. Skyrim for me, like I don't remember how many hours I put in Skyrim, but I got to like 20, 30, 40 hours, and I was like, this. I just not wasn't that like I put 100 something in Oblivion. Enjoyed the shit out of Oblivion. But
Okay.
Skyrim, it never did grab its hooks in me like the other one did.
Mhm.
So, and then like Fallout 4 was the first Fallout game I played,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed the
Same.
shit out of that game. I did my build. I did like a Tony Stark esque where all my engineering and everything, so I could have like create like max level weapons and max level mech
Yep.
suits and all this stuff like that. And it was awesome. And I got to about 90 hours into that game. I got to like a major choice at the end where you're gonna have to kill one of the factions you've befriended, and I was like, not for me. Bloop, power off. And I just never went back to
The only reason
it.
I stopped playing Fallout 4 was my ultra modded version exploded, completely corrupted, and my 45-hour Let's Play kaboomed. And I was like, well, I'm disappointed. I don't want to rebuild this. I don't have the patience to figure it out. And because I was already 40 hours deep on a YouTube series, delete. Well, that game got corrupted. Then guess what happened about 2.5 weeks later? My Skyrim version did the same darn thing to me. And I was flipped the table at that point.
Yeah.
So,
See, I mean, I don't know. I like modded runs. That's another thing too. Like Cyberpunk, I started doing a modded run on Cyberpunk.
oh yeah,
Uh,
those are fun.
and was having fun, but now it's updated twice again. So I'm like, oh my god, I have to redo all of it shit again,
Mhm.
trying to get all those mods to work. And I still haven't even like I was working my way towards the new DLC expansion
And
or
you never
whatever.
got there?
I never made it. I've spent $25 on an expansion. And I've never even touched that content. And you know what I mean? Like
Nice.
one of these days I'll get back to it. Same with like Armored Core. I fucking love Armored Core. I love playing that game, but I
Mhm.
just haven't went back. I haven't gotten the mood to play it. Like it's a great mech fighting game. Like you
Yep.
feel like you're in a fucking mech and it feels awesome.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but
I remembered. I want to say it's Armored Core. Eh? It was an early 2000s PC game that I played of it,
yeah,
and that was fun. But unfortunately, it I haven't played any of the modern ones. I just hadn't had time, or when I got around to it, it wasn't interesting enough to me because some other big fish was out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, I want to play that, and I just never got around to it.
And that's kind of the sad part about it was like Baldur's Gate 3. I enjoyed the shit out of Baldur's Gate 3. I still have yet to
I never played much past what I did on stream,
I've never finished it.
unfortunately.
I'm on Act 3, the final act or whatever, maybe halfway through Act 3, and I just haven't touched it since. And I don't know if I will go back to it, honestly. Like I enjoyed it when we were kind of doing it, and it was fun at that time, but like thinking back on it, because you hear all these like crazy stories about like, man, I did this and this guy died, and I'm like, oh, he was totally alive in my game, or like there were so many choices, and some
Yeah,
people that really excites them. So many choices, man. You can play this game forever, and I'm like,
you can go over here and you can do this, and if you
that
play this and
sounds
you make this choice.
fucking horrible to me.
I Okay, so this again comes back to something we talked about earlier today. Was the infinite replayability of something? You know,
Yep.
that one-time investment. People that like those types of things enjoy because they're not wrong. It really
Yeah.
is a complete new experience. Because when I did, when we were doing the Baldur's Gate playthrough with me and Narama on stream, he's like, no, this does not happen in my version. We did not get this scene. We did not get this. We did not get this dialogue. There are so many different things in the way Baldur's Gate 3, the choice system is in that. You get a completely different experience every
Yep.
time. The way you play your character changes how the game ultimately turns out. Unfortunately, I just never got enough time to do it because other things came up. I want to say what actually put the nail in the coffin for me on Baldur's Gate was the collaboration in Nikkei, where we got the Near Automata collab that rolled right in behind to Anniversary. So, I mean, that was 2 months of me slamming Nikkei near daily because of being a content creator for it and part of their
Yeah.
in their program. You know, I'm slamming that content for 3 weeks each major event, and Baldur's Gate just had to go to the back burner. I couldn't work it in. And now it's just trying to get back into that loop of, do I want to?
Yeah, it was one of those things like we all kind of dropped it. Honestly, the multiplayer thing was really cool, and it was also really terrible because it slowed everything down so much. Because you had one guy going over here talking to this NPC, and then you had to listen to him, or then you had another guy over here doing this thing. So everybody was kind of spreading out,
Mm-hmm.
and it just slowed the game down a lot, and it made it a slog kind of feeling for me, the multiplayer part of it.
I enjoyed it with doing with Narama because
Right.
it was funny because of him. He was playing a paladin and he became an oath breaker. And I saw him break his oath. I knew the second he picked the choice because he was hovering over it. I was like, don't do it. I knew it. I knew the moment he hovered over that choice. It sounded really good, but it was a side-handed like thing. And so
Right.
yeah, he became an oath breaker, and then it was, then he had to go back but it was cool though for me because it was my first experience going through it. I didn't care,
Yeah.
that it was slowed down because it was neat seeing all the perspectives of it. But if you're a person like in your case, where you're used to slamming through the game as a single player thing, you getting now, okay, well, now I got to listen to, this person's dialogue now. I got to listen to this person's dialogue. I just want to go kill this dude already.
Right.
For your experience, it's a little bit different than what because I went in with a completely different mindset of it. I knew we were going to be sitting there screwing around with all the different dialogues. Plus, one of the coolest functions for me that never really happened was because my chat just wasn't really digging it at the time. Is I loved the fact that chat could vote on certain
Yeah.
options. So if you get some fun dialogue options, you could be like, all right, chat, go vote for it. Have some fun. I'll pick whatever y'all end up going for. Chat's choice will win this.
Yeah.
That was neat. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really cool addition to add a layer of, well, where's this gonna go now? Because it's not my choice. It's not his choice.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's a cool game. Maybe one of these days I'll get back to it, but it's just I'm not in the right
It's not for
headspace
you
for it.
right now.
And then
That's
so now I went and bought a PS5 a couple weeks ago. I wanted there was a couple game. Well, the Stellar Blade game, the Switch Up game. It's a PS5 exclusive.
Yep.
Um, I wanted
For
to
now, and
play
then
it.
it'll eventually become
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere.
it'll eventually. Well, they're kind of all their exclusive titles are coming to PC now. Like the
Yeah.
PlayStation's releasing them, you know. And then there's another game, Rise of Ronin. So there was 3 or 4 games
Mhm.
that were Sony exclusives. I was like, screw it. I found one on like Facebook Marketplace, gave a couple, $300 for it or whatever. So I bought a PS5 for $300. Fuck Sony, I'm not buying a new one. Uh, uh, and then I was like, cool. All of my PS4 games I can just play. I can just re-download them on PS5 and play them if I want to. Um, but I ended up like buying the upgraded version for Ghost of Tsushima, which was like it's probably been one of my favorite games in the last 5 years. Fucking
Yeah,
love
I
that
remember
game.
you like raving
Yeah,
over that.
I slammed through it when I first got it on PS4. Anyway, I'm playing through it now. I'm playing through the PS5 upgraded version, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, man, Ghost of Tsushima is coming out for PC," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, I've been waiting on that shit for 4 years or whatever long it was." And now
And
it
here it
comes
comes.
right after I bought it, so which is fine. I'll just keep playing on the PlayStation. But I was waiting for it.
Someday when you want to experience it at 144 frames,
Well, I think
4K,
it's
ray
I think it's
tracing.
still limited to 60. I think it's
Okay.
basically the PS4 PS5
Leave
version
it
is
to the
60 frames.
modders.
Uh,
The
yeah,
modders will go in, they'll unlock
yeah,
it, and they're gonna make that game.
yeah. The mods
They're
would be
gonna make
really
that game
cool,
look
but
good.
anyway, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm kind of digging with
Okay.
that. Um, that's been my go-to. I saw that Snowbreak game I was telling you about. I was like, oh,
Yep.
gotcha game. I'll try it out or whatever. It's not
And it never
bad.
works for him. It never works. You
It's
can't
it,
hold on to him long.
I wish, man. Honestly, Seven Deadly Sins actually kept me more. But a lot of that stuff was story that I was already familiar with, so I could skip through it and kind of knew what was going on anyway.
Yeah.
You know, um,
To be fair, yeah.
which was fine. I like that well enough. But like this is the visual novel is so fucking slow. Oh my god. And then you
Yeah, we
get
were talking about this today, and
yeah,
he was talking about how character gets up to dust their pants off. Character
yeah,
decides to move over here, but you have to realize that in these games, that's the only way because as a 2D sprite, it can only do mouth movement. They're
yeah.
not, well animated, so they can't,
Right.
sit there and, dust off. So it has to write it everything out. And I get what he's saying. It will, when you're
Yeah,
used
but
to a game like, you know, whatever you want to, wherever you want to go, any modern PC game, you're gonna have the actions of them, dusting off, straightening their stuff up. But it can't.
it's not even that. It just feels like that stuff could be skipped. Period. Like you don't have to show that. You don't. That doesn't have to be animated. It doesn't have to be written about to be animated. Like they add. It seems like me like they just add excess, unnecessary lines and more dialogue, and it's just so slow. And then you get to the point. Now I'm at the point now where because you'll do like 2 or 3 missions that have like a couple lines of dialogue before the mission starts.
Mhm.
No problem. And then like one of the missions in the chain is just like a fucking file, and it's just that's all it is fucking chat and
Information.
dialogue, and there's no
Yep.
actual combat or
Story.
nothing in it. And then you get into the combat, and now the combat's starting to get more repetitive. Where it wasn't too bad at first. It's a mobile game, so I wasn't expecting it to be like top of the line graphics or nothing
Yeah.
like that. The models look really good. The
Mhm.
backgrounds are kind of bland. And now the gameplay loop is getting kind of bland too. And that kind of so there's that. The gotcha system itself, like, yeah, it gave me I had a handful of roll pulls at the beginning, and now I've hit that wall where I don't get pulls very much.
And
Get
that instantly discourages people
yeah,
because
getting
you
the
can't pull for a new hot chick every week. And
yeah. The SSRs and the 4 stars and 5 stars or whatever. As far as I can tell, not a huge difference in those. Like the four
it's
stars are
play style and what do
perfectly
you want?
playable. Seeming to me like once you, I mean, obviously if you had all 5 stars, you'd be fine too. But
Of
um,
course.
anyway, like I said, some of the mechanics not bad. The weaponry is like realistic weaponry, like actual
Hmm.
pump shotguns and actual like ARs and
Hmm.
submachine guns and stuff. That's kind of
Yep.
neat. But yeah, it's just getting to be a slog now, and I'm kind of like, well, I'm probably not gonna. I haven't spent a dime on it, so I can probably bow out and
It's
keep it
easy
this
to
way.
drop. You'd actually be proud of me. The only mobile game I got two that I actually keep up is Clash of Clans. I'll open up maybe once a week. Just because I've been playing on that for Oh my god.
Yeah, a lifetime.
I've probably got an 8 or whatever 9-year cake sitting on that thing. I don't remember what's sitting around, but I have that. I still open it up maybe once a week and just go, okay, claim all my crap. And that's cool, new thing. And yep, all right, well, that'll upgrade and take me in the next 14 days to upgrade. And Nikkei, that's it.
Yep.
I don't have Epic 7 anymore. I don't have Outer Plane. I don't have Danmachi. You name it. 90% of my mobile games. I even quit Idle Angels that I had, that I've been running for about 4 years. Just finally said, there's no point because the only progression at the end is the guild versus guild.
Yeah.
And there's only one guild on our server who had all the best players, and they were all whales. They were all 3-4 times my power. There was no way you were beating any of those guys.
Right.
And it was, again, it was a Chinese mobile game is most likely what it was. I think it might have been Korean. But you know, it wasn't super popular. We maybe had 80 people on the server. So, and 20 of them were in the number 1 guild.
Yeah.
So, good luck.
Yeah, man. You know,
So I backed off most of them now.
that's
I'm kind of waiting for something fun to show up.
You know, honestly, like the first real gotcha game I got, a buddy of mine got me to play in Dokkan Battle, DBZ Dokkan Battle.
Yep.
And I still don't really even know how to play the game. Like I logged in, like got 1,000 pull stones or whatever. So I just did a bunch of pulls and got a bunch of cool characters, and then I'd get the mats and I'd level them up or whatever. I think I made my way through all the story stuff, or just over time I'd fucked with it enough. But
yeah,
I pulled a bunch. Like I'd log in like during a holiday or some anniversary event and get I could pull like a dozen times, and I'd just fucking pull and I'd shut the fucking app off again for the next 4 or 5 months or whatever.
And that's kind of some of the fun of some of those games. You can just do that. If you're not taking them serious, who cares?
That was fun. I like the gotcha game system kind of, but I also at the same time where like you're definitely locked behind a paywall unless you get some of these better characters. That part I don't care about. I don't know. There's got to be a way to do it. It's still profitable, but you could still, so.
I mean, I'm looking at that eventually for my IP, and being a gotcha veteran who's put a year and change on 7 Deadly Sins, 3.5, almost 4 years on Epic 7, a full year on Nikkei. If we count Idle Angels, there's 4 years on it, roughly. Countless 6-month runners where I'll go in and I'll play them for like 6 months on the side. Never really talk about it on stream, but just stuff I screw off in the background. I can say I've played a lot of good and a lot of bad. I see what works. I see what doesn't work. I know what people really want to see in the game, and I know what people really hate to see in the game. And I feel like if I can get in there and really work with something when it comes time to make that, I can do it to where people feel like when we played Epic 7, a lot of people always like, dude, the summoning system feels so good here. We can easily get our units. We always said in about 45 days, you were always guaranteed a unit basically every 45 days if you played the game. You didn't need to max them out. You didn't need to do that. And that's one thing I think a lot of people get intimidated by these games is because people want to play, I want to be the competitor. Well, if you're not willing to open up Wallet Coon, where somebody who will not even think twice, they don't even think about the words. There's no hesitation when they click that buy button because in the back of their mind, they're not thinking about the zeros on their bank account. They just go, click, done. And next thing you know, they're pulling. You're never going to compete with that person. Don't try.
And I don't ever look to compete in any of these
games. But that's something that people hate about those games is that competitive of I've got to MLB this character to get this stat to remotely be competitive, or I have to have that because it unlocks this type of thing. And those mechanics push people away. But when I look at something like Nikkei, which has one of the best stories. I mean, I know you tried to hang in there on it for a while, but
Yeah.
again, visual novel thing. If you could sit back on and just listen to the story as like an audiobook for anybody who is curious, Nikkei has one of the coolest sci-fi apocalyptic shooter stories out there.
Yep.
There's been countless people in my chat who are like crying over some of these scenes because you get attached to these characters. Things happen, or you're it's not even that cry of like, oh my god, what happened to him? It's like you're crying because it's like it's such a great moment when you see this like heroic turnaround, or you get these awesome moments. It's a really well written game. And I feel like if you can do that in a mobile game and write these great stories, you can hook people.
Yeah, and honestly, like for me though, it's all about time, and that was another thing that killed me with this last one's like I got 10 or 11, 12 hours in this game, and I'm like on chapter 3 of 12. And like I
Okay.
just, and they're like you can't unlock this thing until you get to chapter 3, 7 or whatever, or chapter 4, 6.
Progression locked, and that means it's typically those games are idled based, where you got to idle off to get the materials, or you need to pull, you need to summon, you need to go get that upgrade material. It's the grind, because when a game locks you behind those chapters, it's progression locked because they need you to be at X stat. It's not like uh Elden Ring, where a guy has a name like "Let me solo her" and goes all the way to the very end boss 15 seconds after they started playing the game and beats the end of the boss.
Right.
You can't just jump away and mechanic your way through it. It's a physical power level of we're stripping at stats. When you hit this point, you will get instantly one shot.
Yeah, and that's another thing too that aggravates me about some games. Now, okay, so here's the thing I was going to bring up when
Okay.
we were talking about so Helldivers does a lot of good.
Okay.
It's not it. I keep hearing that they're an independent studio. I think Sony's just sponsoring them more or less.
Okay.
They're not a Sony affiliated studio. But to me, they're also not independent. Or I guess they are
Yeah.
independent, but they're not. I don't know. They're not indie or something. Like I would consider them like a double A studio, maybe.
Okay.
Something. And they've made a great game, and it's they're not triple A. They're definitely just not like mainstream studio.
Okay.
And they've made a great game. Their balancing, I think their balancing is ridiculous. I think this whole like I said earlier this morning, like they're doing they've nerfed weapons that were so there was a meta, right? There was a meta weapon loadout, but it worked and it was fun and you were able to have fun with it. So you could call down like a backpack, and it would like project a force field around you that would absorb a few hits or whatever. So you could run around and some of the little guys could get up on you and you could kind of ignore them for a second while you were focusing on a bigger enemy. So that was the good part about that shield, right? So you could ignore the little bitches that were close to you and there's a big enemy charging at you. You could focus on him for a minute, get him dealt with, and then turn your attention back to the little guys. That was kind of the point. There was a shotgun, a fully automatic shotgun that could. It was like a spray. You hold it up and it would just start obliterating everything in front of you, like a fully automatic shotgun would do in real life.
The old school, you suck at shooting.
Well,
gun.
the thing is, like, it's fucking frantic. I mean, you literally have these bugs and shit spawning out of the ground, and you're just being overrun the whole time. So, being able to just like point and shoot, and you still aim. There's still some skill to it.
Yeah.
But the primary weapons, you get a primary, secondary, and then a specialty weapon called out.
Yeah.
The primary weapons are very they're for like your basic enemies.
Yeah.
And some of the like more soldier ones. But then you start to get into elites. Your primaries don't do shit to elites.
They're bullet sponges at that point.
They're either that or they're so armored that everything just bounces off of them. They literally are just armored up, and you have to have like a specialty weapon to break the armor.
Okay.
So everybody was running a backpack, that shotgun, and like a railgun. And the railgun, you could charge up and shoot off a piece of armor, and then switch over to your shotgun and shoot the weakened spot on this charger enemy. It's like a giant tank-looking bug, like a rhino beetle-looking thing. Anyway, so that's how you dealt with them. Other than that, you could just tank them, like dodge out of their charges, shoot them in because their ass was exposed, like it was the only part that wasn't armored. And then you could just dump mag after mag after mag into these things and finally kill them, but they just took forever. And by the time you killed them, there was 2 more had fucking spawned on you. So then you had to take them out that way. So being able to eliminate them quickly was great. And that was the
Okay.
meta or whatever. And people were going through and soloing these super hard missions, which spawn rate's supposed to be lower when you have less people in anyway. And then you also can kind of sneak around and pick your fights, and you're not like your buddy got into a fight, and you run over to help him, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose because now everything's coming at you. Shit
Yeah.
like that wouldn't happen so much by
Yeah.
yourself. And so they were like, well, challenge level 9, which is called Hell Dive, is like there's 9 different difficulty levels, and number 9 is Hell Dive. And it's super hard, and they spawn in all the big guys and all this shit, and people were soloing them and are like, oh, that's too easy. We don't want it to be too easy for these people. So they upped the spawn rate. They nerfed some of the weapons that no longer like. Well, the railgun still kills, but you got to turn it on like unsafe mode. So you're like a half a second away from it just blowing up in your hands and killing you. There's a risk to run it. The shotgun. The shotgun was like, well, we're going to up the recoil so it's got more recoil, and it also has like 4 less rounds in the magazine. Okay, it means it's a bigger pain in the ass now. You can't kill as much with it or whatever. But to me, doing shit like that that kind of blows my mind. And then they're like, well, now you can take these rockets and shoot these guys in the face, and then the rockets are more viable. And they keep like doing all these little tweaks and shit like that. But to me, it's like it was fine at the beginning. If you wanted to buff other weapons so people would actually use the other weapons, you should have done that. But actually nerfing other shit to make other shit more. I don't know, man. That aggravates the shit out of me anyway.
This, I won't say I'm a Destiny veteran, but I've got some time under my belt in Destiny.
Yeah.
Both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. There comes a point in time when you look at balance, and I know what this is referring to because of Destiny. In Destiny 1, for anybody who is out of the loop and never played D1, you probably wouldn't realize what the Gallarhorn meta was. Back in the day, you were rejected if you did not have Gallarhorn equipped. Why? Because it was OP. The wolf rounds were disgusting. It tracked. You could literally aim behind me, and the wolf rounds are going to come screaming around at the target. Because accuracy, what's that? Don't need it. It's a Gallarhorn. Pull the trigger, it's gonna die. And then on top of that, once it hits, guess what happens? It explodes. Now more rockets come around, and the wolf rounds swarm it.
Yep.
So it was one of the most meta weapons.
Yep. And
it was sold week 1.
Yeah, week 1
by Xur.
And nobody
from
wanted
Xur.
it.
Nobody knew what it was.
Yep.
And then the only way you could get it was through PvP, or a certain raid, I think, had a chance at dropping it. Yep. But people got to the point where we couldn't do it. So the only way Bungie could walk away with that without committing literally genocide and suicide of their company, genocide to the people, suicide to their company, when they got to a certain point in their expansion and they changed their weaponry over, they didn't upgrade Gallarhorn. They let it go into the dirt. And we're all sitting there scraping by, pushing that Gallarhorn rocket launcher as far as we could until literally the light level got too far. You couldn't use it. You had to retire Gallarhorn.
King's
Fall, what happened in Destiny? No, it was further back, because eventually, I'm trying to think where they did it. It was.
I thought it was when the King's Fall raid, when that expansion. What was the Taken King? When that expansion.
It was prior to that.
It
was prior to that they took it. That they just obliterated the gun. It was in those 2 earlier expansions. Then when Rise of Iron came out, they're like, okay, we're sorry. Here you go.
Yeah.
We heard enough. Yeah. We'll bring it back. Guess what? You couldn't go anywhere without. Yeah. You couldn't go anywhere without it again.
Yeah.
Once again, it became. But there were other options. But you mostly were seeing Gallarhorns run everywhere. Then what do? Destiny 2 arrives, my rocket launcher's sitting in my storage. I can come to the tower and I can pull it out because that's how video games work, right?
Right.
No. No, but up there, we've got Gary coming in and he's all like, I'm gonna take over the tower, and I'm like, let me go grab Gallahorn and let me show you the way of the light. Yeah, no, it's still sitting up there in the tower and they won't let me get it out. But hey, eventually it's the 30th anniversary because they kept saying we're not going to bring it out. We're not going to bring it out. We're not bringing Gallahorn 30th or the 30th anniversary of Bungie. They're like, fine, and it's not as good, but it's still pretty darn good. So I mean, in this case for like Helldivers, here's what's happened. They don't want that to happen again, where people will literally turn you away because you don't have a Gjallarhorn, which in this case sounds kind of like this railgun, let's say.
Yeah,
I heard some streamers because, like, let's be real, my X feed has been nothing but people raving and going on and off about Helldivers. I have seen a lot of people talk about this, and I feel like I can understand both sides of this. You don't want to have your toys nerfed. Like, you tell me you're going to nerf Gjallarhorn, I'm coming at you with a pitchfork. I'm just saying. You don't mess with that, and don't mess with Thorn. Those were like my two. Don't screw with these. You can do everything else to this game, but don't screw with Gjallarhorn and my Thorn. Why? Because they were so hard to get back then.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like, okay, whatever. You can do whatever. We'll work it out.
I still love it that I got my Gjallarhorn from a PvP match.
Yep.
Where I was on the losing team and I took last place.
That is ultimate salt.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's like Zoom.
I bought mine. The next time Zer sold it, you darn well believe I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a week later they got rid of it.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, no, they just never came back for sale again. But yeah, no, it was
intentionally. They intentionally never did it. They said it was random. No, that was intentional to be 50-something weeks with all these other weapons multiple times running over. No, that wasn't random. You programmed it. But I think what happened with Helldivers, people are upset because they want to have the high damage, be able to beat the end game content. But when people won't take you into your squad because you don't have X loadout, that's where it crosses the line. They want it to be more Borderlands-like, I think is what they really want, where you can come up with some really crazy cool builds, you can go out and you have a lot of fun. Sure, there are certain times where certain bosses, you're going to need some stupid crap to shred them. All right, I get that. You're going to need a grenade that's going to be able to strip its shield because it needs to be the same element type. I get that. You're going to need, a specific type of shield because of how the damage is dealt. I can get a lot of these slightly min-maxing, but when you say, you must bring this, and this, and you can't walk in.
Well,
that's one reason why I never got into Destiny 1 raids, because I was Gjallarhornless. I wasn't Maidenless, I was Gjallarhornless.
My thinking was, so with the Helldivers thing, it's like, so there was weapons that were kind of more useless than other weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't use them because they just their magazine was too small. They didn't quite do enough damage. So to me, why not buff those weapons to make them more viable, to make people want to use them and make, whatever.
Okay.
Which would have been cool.
I can kind of go on that a little bit.
Yeah, and then they've also said something about the difficulty. They're talking about going all the way to difficulty 15. So it's at 9 now, so they're gonna add 5, 6 more difficulty levels to the game.
Okay.
Okay. Why didn't you do that? If it was too easy, why didn't you just add the more difficulties to it already instead of? So anyways, that kind of balancing aggravates me. I watched a video.
I can get where you come from that.
Yeah, I watched a video today of a guy that was like, okay, so they were supposed to have nerfed the elite spawn rate. Okay. The elites won't spawn in the higher levels as often because it was hard to deal with all of them because there's just so many.
Yeah.
So there's.
Why am I getting gear? In my mind, I'm picturing Gears of War type survival, where you're getting overwhelmed with everything coming at you at the end when you get to those higher survival levels, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, and I'm dead.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it was, and honestly,
Okay.
like the dying parts, actually, sometimes it's kind of funny. You know, you just like
Okay.
and your body explodes or whatever, and they call in a new
Yeah.
body for you. Um. So anyway, so there's like the Chargers is like this super heavily armored tanked Rhino Beetle looking thing. That's hard as hell to kill unless you hit it in the right spots with the right
Mhm.
specific weapons. And then there's another enemy type called a Bile Titan, like this giant fucking 3-story bug that just
Mhm.
walks around and it'll spit acid on you and shit. Which is also hard as fuck to kill unless you have the exact right weaponry to kill it with. And a lot of that is
Mhm.
like your stratagems, which you type in like a cheat code and you throw a ball of light out and your drop ship will fucking start sending shit down from it like from orbit, orbital
Okay.
strikes, different stuff like that. And that's how you
That's pretty cool.
yeah, and that's normally kind of the plan that you do to kill these things. Anyway, the video I watched today, this guy joined a mission, uh, high level mission, and like he counted 20 of those Bile Titans showed up, and like and then not only that, like 100 Chargers, like all this shit, and like just so much crap, and like they deal with it and they deal with it and they deal with it, and I don't know,
That
man.
doesn't sound
It
like
just
at certain point, like
yeah
I have to say, one of the difficulty curves that actually kind of felt good for me was Diablo 3's torment system, where you would work your way through those different torment levels throughout season, and then getting into the rift levels, those greater rift levels as you kept climbing up. It each time, every so many few levels, it got really hard. Like you could feel the gap starting to build every time you'd go up. Like every 5 in the greater rifts, you could really feel those levels really starting to get down on you. I feel like that's probably where they're going to be trying to go with, is something like that, to where, okay, you have this Helldiver, but in order to increase it, you've got to also start giving other things for that to increase upon. You've
yeah.
got to have
So
that.
here's some of the good things that I do enjoy about the game. So
Yeah.
in the missions, when you drop onto a planet, it's kind of roguelike. They're all similar planet. Like different planets have different biomes and stuff. Some of them are
Yeah.
like moon-like and cold and no vegetation. Some of them are like tropical rainforest type things. So
Okay.
there's like, and each mission is a little bit different where placements of certain objectives are. So the maps are all, it's kind of roguelike, and you get one shot at that mission. You come in and you do the objectives or whatever, and you either pass the objectives or you fail them. But once that mission's over, it's done. Like that part of the planet's done. You don't ever go back. You don't ever get another chance on that part.
Okay.
Um, but at the same
Kind
time,
of like
like
real life.
yeah. So you also find what are called samples. It's a pickup. It's a material that you find around the maps. So there's regular samples, there's rare samples that you get once you get to the harder
Mhm.
levels, and then there's super rare samples once you get into the hardest levels. And now to unlock some of the certain things on your ship, like all your stratagems and all the buffs that your stratagems can get, like
Mhm.
quicker cooldowns and all these things like that, you have to have those super rare materials to unlock them. So you have to play on the hardest difficulties to get the super rare materials to
Okay.
unlock the stratagems. So there's that. But you can also find super currency in metals and like what's called requisition slips, which is basically your cash.
Okay.
Super credits is premium currency, so like what you would pay for. You also
Got to
just
swipe.
you also just find it in the maps. Like you don't have to pay money. You if you grind the game out enough, you can just stock up on those stuff, and that lets you buy the what are called war bonds, which is basically your season pass kind of thing.
Okay.
But the war bonds have weaponry in them. That's how you actually unlock the weapons. But they did say that the war bonds won't go away. So like right now I've got like regular war bonds there, and then I bought the deluxe version, which gives me the premium war bond.
Yeah.
And then there's a new war bond coming out this week or next week or something like that. But
Mhm.
the other two war bonds are still there. Like they're not going to go away until you've completed them and locked them out. Basically, they're still going to
Okay.
be there. So you're still going to have access to those weapons if you grind for them, and you need to grind missions to get like accommodation medals or whatever, and
Mhm.
that's what you buy your guns with.
Okay.
Anyway, like I said, that's a good point to the game. Is like if you grind it enough, you can actually just grind out the premium currency, and you don't actually have to spend any money on the battle passes.
Okay, just
You
for
know?
curiosity, because I'm illiterate to Helldivers outside of what I see on X. Say for whatever reason I wasn't strapped for cash and I wanted to go swipey swipe.
Yep.
What does $20 get me in that game?
I think it's each super credit's like a penny. So if you spent $10, you get 1,000 or
Okay.
something like that. So it's like most games. So you spent $20, you get 2,000.
Okay.
War bonds are $10 worth, so 1,000 worth. And then
Okay.
it also has a superstore, which is like premium armor sets, and there's
Okay.
only been a handful so far that they kind of cycle
Obviously, because it's
through.
a new game.
Yeah, there's only like 3 or 4 different sets.
Yeah.
So you can spend your super credits on them. The actual armor suit has your buffs on it. So
Okay.
some of them, like the one I'm wearing right now, lets me throw grenades, and my stratagems like gives me like a stronger arm, so I can throw that shit further. There's some that give you like you can carry more grenades, some carry more
Cool.
stems or healing stems or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's different buffs, and that armor gives you that. And then you can also buy a helmet and a cape, and those are just cosmetic, like whatever.
Okay.
Like they don't have no other than just
Paths or
cosmetic.
anything. Yeah. Yeah. I got it.
There's nothing to them, but they look cool and they match the sets or whatever.
Okay.
And that's what you buy with premium currency. And then there's also different armor sets that you unlock in the war bond with your medals.
So, in a way, is this kind of like Grand Theft Auto where you can just go in and go buy their credits at, X price and it's just,
Well,
you can,
buying the credits only lets you buy the premium armor, in the super
okay.
credit store, and the war bonds.
Okay.
The actual stuff that's in the war bonds, you actually have to grind to unlock anyway.
So it's not like I can just go say, I'm gonna go spend $50 and go push this through and be done with it.
No,
Okay.
doesn't actually. That's not how
Interesting.
it works. It's actually
Cool.
yeah. So medals unlock things inside the war bonds. Super credits actually unlock the war bonds,
Hmm.
but medals actually unlock what's inside the war bond. So, and that's another thing too. So like the first level war bond, the first couple weapons are like 10 medals or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like to get to the second level, you have to have spent X number of medals on the first one to get to the second one to unlock it. And then once you get to that
Okay.
one, you got to spend X number of levels between the first and second one to unlock the third one. So like right now, the one I'm on, like I need to spend 600 and something medals to unlock the next level or some shit like that. It's like
Okay.
it gets grinder and grinder as you go, but the weapons and better and
No, no,
better
I
as you
get,
go.
I get that.
Um,
Okay, cool.
yeah, like I said, so that actual system is great. Uh, the There's a few crashes and there was a server problem at the beginning of the game, but right
Hmm.
now, the last time I played it, easy to jump into a friend's game and you just take off and you play
And have
together.
fun.
And it's like it's
Okay.
so that part's super good. Um, if like your buddies are ahead of you and you're like, man, my game had to update or whatever, I'm going to be a minute behind. Well, if they're already in the mission, you jump in, you just launch in with them. It drops you on top of
Okay.
so you just pick up and basically drop in and play. But like I said, there's a lot of good to the game. There's a lot of based and developers. There's some that are arguing with fans or whatever. That's one way or the other. People
Yeah.
are human. They're going to argue that they're not going to like every take you have. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that.
It's 2024. You're gonna expect to
Yeah.
hear everything at this point.
I just, it just aggravates me if a game is going to waste my time. And that was what aggravates me the most. If I'm going to spend 20
Okay.
or 30 minutes, and each mission is time, like you only have 20 or 30 minutes to complete them. And then,
And I can see where that would be a challenge, especially on
yeah,
harder difficulties, especially if you're having to slug through so much stuff.
yeah.
It sounds quite annoying.
And that's my thinking with it is like, if I do 20 or 30 minutes, I get to the very end, get to the very end, didn't have the material, we didn't have the weaponry to kill a lot of the enemies, so we were just kiting them around where the dropship was coming in to pick us up. We're just running, trying to stay alive until the dropship gets there. Uh, so we're just kiting enemies, kiting enemies. We don't have the weaponry to kill the enemies, so the heavies and stuff that are coming after us. The dropship lands. I'm the only one. Everybody else is dead. I'm the only one left alive at this point. The timer has run out. So okay. So you got 30 minutes. At 30 minutes, your ship fucks off. It leaves orbit. It can only maintain that orbit for 30 minutes or whatever. So when it leaves
Yeah.
orbit, all of the stuff that you can call down, your extra weaponry, your extra ammo, all of your stratagems, all your shit that nukes from space,
Yeah.
your reinforcements you call down from your ship. When they fuck off, that's all gone. Zeros. You can no longer use any of that shit. So we get down to like, and then you so long, and then you have to get on the fucking dropship and get the fuck out.
Hmm.
They fucked off, so we have no stratagems to call in. I'm running around, running around. I'm the only one left alive. The dropship lands. The fucking gate comes down. I'm running. I'm fucking dodging all these things. I get like within 3 feet of the fucking ramp, and another Bile Titan. I'm being chased by one already. That's behind me. Another one
Yeah.
fucking spawns in and pukes all over me and fucking kills me 3 feet from ending the mission. And I was like, "Fuck this! I'm out." you know.
Yep. I can see where that's in. I can see both sides to this,
Yeah.
where that's a y'all problem that happened, but
Yeah.
I also can see where that's a game issue. You should be able to have a way to get some of those extra things if you screw up for whatever reason and didn't come completely prepared.
And that's the thing too, because if you manage your time right, if you end up getting in a fight that takes, you're just constantly spawning in motherfuckers, so you can like be stealthy and sneak around patrols and stuff like that, and not get in those fights and save that time.
So
But
basically, what happened was y'all went Leroy Jenkins,
well,
and
I think we dropped in and like we dropped in on an area and like there was just enemies there when we spawned in, and there's a patrol just randomly, and they're like, and it started a fucking called like a bug breach or whatever. It started that, and we fought them for 5 or 10 minutes, died a few times, lost our lives. So,
mm,
like I said, it's just one of those things. But then
okay,
you're like, I don't want to lose, I don't want to lose. So you keep playing, and 30 minutes have gone by, and then you fucking die at the end. No, so and here's a kind of a good thing too about it, and it's not, and it aggravates me, but at the same time, it's so we completed the objectives.
yeah,
We did like we were supposed to launch a nuke or whatever. Go to this planet, get the launch codes, run over to the fucking launch site, and launch the nuke.
mhm,
We launched the nuke. We did that. We found other side objectives. We did those. There's like other bug nests and stuff that are around the area. If you close them,
mhm,
that's also part of it. So we did all that shit, but then still didn't get on the ship. But the mission was still technically a success because we did complete the objectives. It just none of us came back alive, so we lost points for none of us come back alive or whatever.
okay,
But we also lost the samples that we were carrying around because none of us were able, because you actually have to carry them in your pockets out the fucking door to keep them. The other
okay,
stuff, the super credits, the medals, the requisition slips, that all goes into like a digital bank or whatever.
yeah,
So that all shit comes with you anyway.
okay,
But like the samples is the one thing you actually have to carry out. And if you
okay.
die, you lose those samples. So you lost that word. So it
That
still
time.
feels like a loss, even though it technically
Are
was a
you able to
win.
go back to the planet and recollect them later,
No.
or once the planet's done, it's done? You
Once
can never
that
go
once
back to
that
the.
mission part of that mission on that planet is done, it's done. So the harder difficulties, there's like 3 points on the map, and
Mhm,
those are like 3 parts to one mission, or 4 parts or whatever. Like there's 3 or 4 parts, and they're all in kind of the same area. But if you fail one, you don't get the stuff for it. But if you
mhm,
succeed in it, you still get the stuff. And you just move on to the next one. But fail or
okay,
succeed, that mission is no longer there. So,
okay,
along with all the samples and everything else that you couldn't pull out.
that sucks.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's aggravating. It makes me want to rage quit. And it makes me want to not
Yeah,
play it anymore. Just being fucking stubborn. Um, but that's kind of the fun part of it, I guess. Um,
yeah,
but that goes back to I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima right now on my PlayStation. I can just kick off and turn my PlayStation on and play that.
that's cool.
Um, yeah, man. So that's Helldivers at a breakdown. I've pretty much went over
I
it.
sounds pretty interesting. Maybe I'll get around to playing it someday.
It's super fun, and like I said, you can jump in the game for $30. Not a I paid 64. I paid the extra 20 or whatever it was for the deluxe edition or whatnot.
Yeah,
Um, which gives you a
Okay.
cool, a couple cool cosmetic armor pieces, and you look like you got a Destiny Titan like fucking winged helmet on and shit. Is one of them you get. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, man. Like I said, it's fun, and there's a lot of like, the lines are like, uh, "Have a cup of liberty," and you throw a fucking grenade or whatever. So you get your voice actors saying shit, some cringy fucking democracy
Never
lines.
mind.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's super like Starship Troopers. I'm doing my part,
Yep.
kind of
I'm
thing.
doing my part.
Yeah. So I mean, like I
That's
said, there's some
great.
fun. There's some fun moments in it, and there's some moments where like your buddy fucking chucks a fucking cluster bomb strike in, and you're not paying attention, and then all of a sudden you're just in pieces because your buddy's cluster bomb strike killed the fuck out of you. Shit
Makes
like that
sense.
happens a lot. You
Yeah.
you, you kill your teammates a lot.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, I'm in a love hate with it right now. I guess like I
I could
want to
see
play
that.
it, but at the same time, like, oh fuck them, I don't want to play this game. So
I have those days. I have those days.
yeah. I know we're pushing an hour and a half. I wanted to do something. I've been trying to
Okay.
get you to even drop in on the podcast, not even as a guest, just in chat.
Yeah.
As you can see behind me right here, I've started doing cards. Right.
Yes. Yes.
You can't really see. I can zoom in. I guess maybe. Not that way.
All right. All right.
All right. But anyway, so I'm letting chatters and like VIPs and guests and stuff pick a
Yeah.
card, and I'm putting their name on the card, and I'm trying to fill up this board anyway.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you pick a card from the deck. King of Hearts, Ace of Hearts is taken. King of
right.
Spades, Ace of Spades is taken. And the
Of course,
Queen
Ace
of
of Spades would be.
Yeah, well that's mine. That's so
Yeah. Of
mine's always
course.
gonna
Obviously.
mine's always gonna
You're
be
always the Ace of Spades.
right. So here with the
All
loose
right.
card. And one of the Joker, Eli took a Joker.
Okay. I could see that.
So I was gonna let you pick a card. We'll put your name on it.
All right. Let's see.
Roommate has the thumbtacks.
Let's see.
I still got a lot of the face cards open. Thought about doing this thing with chat later where they just pick a random number and I just count that many out after I shuffle, and that's the
Okay.
card they get. But I'm letting VIPs and guests and stuff pick their card,
Okay.
and I'm going to write their name down.
So let's pick the Six of Spades.
Six of Spades.
So my baseball number when I used to play baseball was number 6.
Not expect number.
Yeah. That was used to be my baseball number. We'll roll with that.
Okay. I meant to buy a gold marker. I did not. Because I know your name is normally gold. So, got some colored markers here. You can pick your color. I got red,
good.
blue, green, and black. Right.
Well, as one of the greatest Batman lines ever, does it come in black?
You want black on black, though? Black on a black spade?
It would pop. I mean, this way, because it's a white card. So black will be legible. Red works too.
That's true.
They both work. But yeah. I had the number 6 from the final year of T-ball till the it would have been 8th grade, or no, 7th grade, the end of 7th grade baseball. I always had the number 6 on my jersey. I think Dad started it because it was his number in baseball, and then I just kind of hung on with it over the years. And
I'll buy some more colored markers too, so I'll have a bigger
I ended
variety.
up
Backwards? It's backwards, right?
Nope, I can read it for me on on Discord.
Weirdly, it's backwards on Streamlabs stream.
Yes,
I don't know why.
mirrored because that's how things work.
Yeah, but it's weird that it's not mirrored on Discord. Anyway, there you are. 6 of Spades,
Heck yeah.
Nightingale, 1176. I wrote it twice on there because I thought it fit on the bottom better.
Oh yeah,
And I'll get a thumbtack and put you on the board. I found these
yeah.
cool cork boards that are square foot. So I just took one of
That's
my
cool.
foam boards out and stuck it in there, and I've got more of them that I can do on the rest of the wall too later.
That's cool.
So yeah, I got some more stuff. I do. You've seen the most of the room, but like,
Oh yeah,
I've got
you've been
the
putting work on it.
One Piece flag. Oh, I've got my Mario lights, but they watch the camera now. Turn the lights on.
Probably because of how the exposure's set up.
Yeah, so
Well,
you can see they kind of wash out.
yeah, they're a little bit brighter than your exposure of your camera.
Well, that's the thing too. I really want to get a. Hey, welcome in. It's Chloe VT. Thank you for becoming a follower. Welcome in. Welcome
Uh-oh.
in.
Oh no, you need to run.
Thank you so
I'm
much
kidding.
for dropping the
Hi,
follow.
Chloe.
Yeah. I want to foam panel that wall where the flag was too, and then I'm going to put I've got an old computer desk that's going to sit in this corner,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to set it up for my where I can build Legos and models and stuff, and set up a down so I can actually have a spot to build that stuff. I'm trying to do and I've skipped the last 2 Mondays because mental state. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm trying to do a make shit Monday stream where I work on my TTRPG. I work on maybe build I really want to build like a Gundam model.
That'd be cool.
Buy and build like a Gunpla or whatever they're called. I want to do that and then start start a fucking collection over here and start setting like anime figures and mechs and shit. I want to do that.
Any anime waifus on stream? I see a man of culture when I know one.
Right. And I've seen some good ones. Man, weird tangent. When I started thinking about this, I was like, I want a Mira Jane one. Dude. Because it's so far out right now, finding those statues, you can still find them, but they're super expensive and there's not very many. Fingers crossed, they have officially announced now that 100 Years Quest anime will be released this summer. It has been officially announced. It was been teased that it was going to be this summer anyway. They're actually saying 100 Years Quest will drop this summer if Crunchyroll doesn't shoot themselves in the dick. I'm not.
Let's just say, I'm all fired up.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Me neither. I can't. But so I'm a little hesitant about the. Well, they dropped the ball with Eden Zero season 2 because Eden Zero season 1 was on Netflix. Netflix decided not to catch it. Crunchyroll caught the license, dropped the sub, but never did a dub for season 2.
They'll eventually get it.
Well, that's the thing, though. But it's already passed. Like season 2's already done. It's been done for months. Like it was like.
But as they go back and eventually dub stuff.
Yeah, I know, but still, yeah, it just feels like they.
It wouldn't be current, but it would be eventual. Oh, hey, here's season 2. It makes sense.
Yeah, I know, but still, yeah, like it should have been. It should have already been done. Like it should have been simuldubbed, more or less.
Yes, but then again, it's also their schedule, and
well,
here I'll go off on. If you want another little side tangent, I'll give you a quick 30-second one.
Okay.
Voiceover actors, when they do these dubs, they need to branch out more. They need to stop using the same handful of 20, 30 voice actors because that hinders them in the long run because they got to go with the schedule of all these people that they're trying to fit in. I get it. You want to use some of these certain actors because of characters and whatnot, but you should start looking at casting more just so that you can bring more dubs in because there's tons of talent out there. You just need to find the talent to do it.
The problem with that is the people that have those roles now, your Monica Rials, your what was that lady's name, the one that played Kana, that was in the, these people right now, is that her name?
Can't remember. Kana?
Yeah. She was,
I don't remember her name.
Jamie Marchi.
Okay, yeah.
Because there was the whole shit, I just forgot the word. Were they basically the localizer thing? It was the whole localizer thing. These people right now are in the heads of the departments at Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Monica Rial is like a head director or talent casting or whatever. She is in those positions, so they are gatekeeping this. That's why you don't have the giant pool of talent that you should have. There should be more talent searches
Yeah.
out there, and breaking into that industry is actually even harder because these people are gatekeeping it because they're giving it to their friends who they've known in the business forever.
Because they will sound great for it.
Well, yeah, and they know they will, and they know they're a good choice. And I'm not saying that they're
Yeah.
not a good choice, but at the same time that they don't diversify the actual casting
Pool.
pool.
Yeah.
So you get the same thing. I have noticed. I was following a couple animes this season that Monica Rial was voicing in. That she's not voiced in the last couple episodes. Not voiced that character last couple episodes, and there was another anime, same thing. So I don't know, maybe she got sick or something and couldn't do it, so they've replaced her with another woman that's similar sounding, but not quite the same. You can definitely tell the difference.
It's Monica Rial. You'll be able to pick her voice up anywhere, and it's like,
well, yeah, I've heard it 75 different ways at this point, from her playing a baby to a old lady,
old woman. Yeah.
But
that's just my little thing. If you could go out and diversify the pool, which I get it's they're the gatekeeper of it, but that would be such a wonderful thing for anime to get more done.
There's a current ecchi anime out right now. It's an ecchi romance. I guess it's kind of
Say less.
It's out right now called Hokkaido Girls Are Super Adorable. And the voice actress for one of the main girls, the main girl, I guess she just came back, like she was overseas or something and was a voice actor before, and now it's came back, and it's kind of came back to the game. But she's doing, because it's set in Hokkaido, she's doing the Hokkaido accent as like this really cute Canadian accent. Instead of like most of Japanese dubs are like, oh, it's a country accent, and they give us like a southern
hey y'all, how's it going?
They do that.
They all want to put that real southern accent to it.
But because this is northern and snowy or whatever, they've given all of those like a Canadian accent, and it actually fucking works really well.
Don't you know?
It's super cute.
That's awesome.
It's really good. I'm digging that.
Okay,
that's a different take on stuff, and I've tried to tell people that normally watch sub only. I'm like, hey, check out the dub, because I actually think they're doing something pretty cool with the dub.
Yeah,
and
I just prefer hearing it in English.
Well,
I'm pressing one.
Like you said, how I consume my anime, and it's normally just listening to it with the screen playing in the side.
I
can't read
an infinite amount of more. Yeah.
But I can't. So I just can't read it. Like, and this is gonna sound terrible. I listened to it was a game. I got One Piece game on. It was like for sale on the PlayStation Store for like $5 or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's like a open world One Piece game. I was like, I'll try it. But it's only subbed, and I've listened to over almost 1,100 episodes of One Piece dub. Like 1,060, I think was the last 1,060 something was the last episode I've watched.
The people who do that are legends. I'm not there.
I started this shit in 2014.
Yeah,
like that's when I started watching One Piece, and like at that time there was already 500 episodes or some shit, and I just binged 500 episodes of one anime. Anyway, but I'm used to the English actors or whatever, so the Japanese ones jump in, and I'm like,
what is going on?
These sound fucking terrible. And everybody's always saying, oh, the English ones sound terrible. I'm like, the Japanese ones sound terrible. Like, it does not match these characters whatsoever. I just think it sounds like crap. And honestly, I feel that way about all subs. All subs kind of sound terrible.
I'm going to probably get canceled on your podcast. So I'm just going to put fair warning that this video may get taken down.
Well, my take's about as hot, so.
Well, here's my hottest of hot takes. Goku shouldn't be played by a woman. Sean Schimmel is forever Goku.
No, I agree with that.
Sorry. She did amazing. She got it there, but
yeah. That's definitely true, Chloe.
You can't. It's not the same hearing Sean scream at the top of his lungs versus hearing, I can't remember her name, that screams at the top of her lungs for Goku. I get it. I respect her because he picked her and all this stuff. But it's more powerful to hear Goku doing that as Sean.
It was
so
yeah, well, that's how I grew up watching DBZ on Cartoon Network after school.
Mhm.
Like we'd get off the bus, I'd run home, and I'd catch DBZ.
Yeah,
and that's when I would watch it.
because we originally heard the Canadian dub. Originally,
I do remember that too. Yeah,
because up to the Frieza's, it was right at the Frieza saga where Sean and Chris took over as the voice actors. So that's all of a sudden you hear the Vegeta switch and the Goku switch, and you're like, whoa.
The Goku switch wasn't as
as noticeable.
Yeah, it wasn't as jarring.
But the Vegeta one, totally.
Yeah.
Although Chris totally
you went from a guy that talked like this to Chris's more deep. But the original Vegeta talked kind of like this. You know, it was kind of
very
more,
very in the throat.
He was in the throat, but also in a higher register.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, going because I actually, when Super was playing, I can remember the Ultra Instinct stuff had come out, and like I was still, I think I was at that point, the dub was still like 2 arcs behind or something. Like it was still quite a ways off, and I was like, I really wanted to see this. So I ended up watching the final bit of Super in subbed. And it was hard to do. Like it was hard for me to finish it subbed, but I watched it. And I don't do that very often. I won't jump ahead on sub, but
yeah. I just refuse to watch it. If it doesn't get dubbed, I don't watch it.
Yeah, but that was the thing, man. Like I just wanted to see this, and I've been holding off.
This is a big legendary moment.
Yeah,
I get it.
Well, so Gear 5 is the new big legendary moment for One Piece right now. That's the new level for Luffy is Gear 5, and I've heard all about it, and I know what it's about.
Yep.
But it's still not dubbed. They've dropped a trailer for the dub version that's supposed to be coming out soon. Like I looked it up. I was like, when is Gear 5? Like what episode is that dropped on? Like 170 or 1070 or whatever. And I'm like, 1065 or some shit. Like it stopped just fucking before that. And that was because they'll just drop like a 12 episode block every month or so, or every other month. They'll dub like 12 episodes, drop them. Wait a couple months, they'll drop another 12 episodes. So it's coming. Like they're working on that dub right now. But I'm like, fuck. I just want to see that. Like I'm so close to this big thing, but I haven't jumped ahead and watched it subbed. But yeah, man, that's the kind of a cool thing. I wish I enjoyed the different subversions where I could watch different stuff sometimes. But
I'm too boomer. When I look at my screen, I'm going, hold up, let me zoom in here. Does what? Oh well, it's gone. Never mind.
Well, it's like a big, crazy, flashy action scene, fireball coming through the screen and all this shit, and then
you're wanting me to read text?
Yeah, you want me to read text at that point? No.
And here's even the better part: when I will respect the people who do subtitles because they know right when to stop and start the text between 2 curves, and you're like, you, sir, were a man of culture.
Right.
You knew this, you understood the assignment, especially when the text comes up over and to the side. You're like, you know where I'm looking. And you're like, we're keeping that alleyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of that's great. I mean, that's the male gaze though, which is terrible these days. That's a lot of people are bitching about this Stellar Blade because the woman wears basically a tracksuit that goes up her butt crack or whatever.
Yeah,
and they're like, it's gonna, toxic males are gonna stare at this woman's butt. Like, yeah, we fucking are. Like, there's gonna be a lot of females that are gonna stare at that woman's butt too. Like, I don't know if you've met any VTubers, but like, they're all kind of in that aesthetic. They kind of like looking at that shit, which is most of weebs. Regardless, like it's just these very few blue-haired ones that want to fight. Yeah, Chloe. See, called it.
Chloe's got a 3D model.
Yeah, I've seen her. You raided into her one day, and I think I sit there for like another 2 or 3 hours on a BDO stream. I don't give a shit about BDO, but like Chloe's
cool.
stream.
But it's no, I get it, and I joke about it. It's like if I'm gonna stare at somebody's butt, let's make this thing actually like worth
Yeah,
staring at. You know? I'm
agreed.
like, it's not that I care about that it's a guy's butt or a girl's butt, but if you're gonna give me the option, carnal instinct takes over. Do I want to stare at
Yeah,
a guy's butt? No.
and I don't know.
Give
Like,
me.
I'm never gonna watch a what is it? Uh, Yuri Yaoi is the male
I don't
version,
know.
right?
I don't know the
Yuri
Japanese
is
term
female. Yuri is like female gay, and Yaoi is male gay. I
over
think
so over
in
my
the
head.
I hear about
Look,
it.
I can barely keep the yandere, tsundere stuff. I normally have
Right,
to go Urban Dictionary or whatever it is to go figure out which one's which because I can't keep up with it.
right.
I'm about 90% sure yandere is the crazy one, tsundere is the
Yep,
shy, bashful one.
yep.
Uh,
Yeah. Yaoi is
so,
boy. But anyway, so there's
oh,
certain animes that I skipped. Like I was like, no, I'll pass on those. Uh, but to each their own. Some people like this
yeah,
stuff. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna skip them
yeah.
for the most part.
Everybody's got a nip.
There was one that came out, and I couldn't make myself watch it. I watched the first couple episodes, but it was like the actual title is like a typical nobody reborn in a fantasy world is a total knockout. So him and his best friend get isekai. Basically, this god shows up, isekais them. Uh, one of the more reliable guy, gets like super strength, becomes like a fucking hero or whatever, gets like the
Yeah.
hero perk or whatever. And the other guy is turned into like this super cute girl. And that's the whole premise of it. And the other buddy, his best friend, starts falling for him because he's a girl now. So she's anyway, that's the fucking premise of the show. And I was like,
Oh.
I want
I'm pretty sure I've seen a code version of that
yeah.
in some shape, form, or another.
So that was yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it. It's still on my thing to go back and watch, along with Call of the Night, the same creator who
That's a
did
good one. Yeah.
Dagashikashi.
Yeah.
I
Call of the Night's really good.
I watched the
got
first
to
couple
watch
episodes.
that.
I just haven't gone back and finished it. I just need to finish it.
You
I
should.
think
It's
they
cool.
said they're getting a season 2, so
Yeah. It was a pretty neat little watch. I got it knocked out in a day back when I was able to watch anime. It was cool. I'd recommend it.
yeah, I'll
I mean, it's
probably
Dagashikashi, so
yeah.
it's great.
I'll definitely check it out. There's a lot of cool shit out right now, though,
Mhm.
man. You're missing out. I know you're zoned in and getting shit done, and I'm super proud of you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
But you're missing out on
Coming around.
some good anime shit. So
Oh,
one
I
of
know.
these
I've
days,
I've missed almost an entire year of seasons of stuff, and I know it'll be worth it in the end when I get to finish this. Um, I'm basically trying to prepare for the future because if I get this the way I want this, I'm releasing a book every roughly 90 days. There's a
yeah,
new book dropping. That scares the crap out of me and needing to know how much time has to go into editing because all I'm doing right now, book 1 is written and I could probably send it to an editor tomorrow and not really care. I'm pretty good with the story enough to say no, even minor changes of like small, like, okay, maybe I want to like re-emphasize something here. Maybe I want to bring this up. That could care less. But from book 2 to right now, I just am about to finish book 9. Those are just first drafts of the initial thought. I haven't really gone deeply into it and edited it heavily.
yeah,
Because I'm trying to just get the main idea put down so that when it comes time for that book, I can put my focus into that.
right.
So, yeah, I'm missing out on a lot, but I can tell you all this that when the day comes, I think you're really going to enjoy a lot of the characters and stories
Oh,
because
I'm sure.
I'm really trying to make the world and the characters feel fun when they show up. Like you get some really cool, memorable moments that that'll make you go, huh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I'm wanting you to have those cool moments. So it's a lot of careful planning with that. So hopefully it turns cool whenever that day comes.
And like me, I'm wanting to work on the TTRPG. I've got to get it
Yep.
done and I need to get it done and ready to playtest by May.
Okay.
The convention's in July.
All right.
I hopefully I can get it within playtesting. And honestly, like I'm pretty close. What I need to do right now is like I need to make the item cards. All of
Okay.
your like pick up a gun. The gun's gonna have these stats. You pick up a first aid kit. The first aid kit's gonna do this or whatever. So I
Yep.
need to make those kind of item cards.
Yep.
I've made. So we were talking earlier, and I don't know if I actually got into it. There's not a class system so much as like it's. I've made 12 characters. You'll draw one of 12 characters at random. I'll
Mm-hmm.
just like hold the cards out to you, and you'll just pick a card, and that's the character you're going to play for that round. And it goes from like
Okay.
police officers one to like nerdy honor roll student girl or whatever.
Okay.
Just different walks of life people.
Yeah.
They each have like a bonus to the four stats:
Mm-hmm.
intelligence, stamina, which is your movement and stuff; strength,
Yep.
which is your fighting,
Vitality.
how you fight and do
Yeah.
combat, and then will. And will is your biggest one because there's a horror element to it, and if your sanity goes to 10, if you get to 10, then you lose the will to live, and your character immediately tries to move to kill itself.
Okay.
And you can save from that, but at the same time, it's one of those like there's a mechanic.
I will always roll the 1 on that.
Yeah, well, there's mechanics that help you save or whatever, or somebody can save you and like shake you back or whatever. Like but it's a PVE PvP setup, so it's like your enemies you can align with them. At the same time, you also may be trying to stab each other in the back, and it's a
I
psychological
can see it.
game.
Cool.
That I've and like I said, I've got most of the mechanics. I got most of them typed out. There's a few that I've got in my head that I still need to actually type out. The character cards and then the item cards and then how I'm going to do bonuses. I also have there's a superpower system that I have in the game.
Yeah.
It's like a rare chance of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a store. There's like an online shop because it's a modern day take. So it's like if a normal person from today got beamed into. So my kind of thinking is, you know what the Beyonder is?
Roughly.
He was in the Spider-Verse and Marvel Universe. He's like a being beyond or whatever. And he kind of came up with the Secret Wars. He teleports all the heroes to a separate universe and makes them fight villains. That's the Secret Wars. That's kind of the point of this. Like the DM, me, the dungeon master, the game master, whatever, is kind of a Beyonder character. He summoned all these people to his world to make them play fight.
Okay.
So it's a game world. But everybody teleports in modern day. Everybody's got a cell phone. Cell phone actually works in the game. I would love to be able to create an app where you can actually download it on your actual phone and use your actual phone. That's way down the fucking line. Like maybe one of these days I can work.
This
on
man's an idea man, by the way. He
Uh,
will consistently slam ideas out.
But
This next thing you know, there's going to be an MIT level idea behind it.
but so my workaround for that is in the short. I'm just gonna give everybody like a sticky notepad, and if your characters meet, you can exchange numbers, and now your people you can write notes. They can pass notes back and forth to each other because they have their number, so it's like a text message chain. So that's kind of the workaround for that. There's also going to be an online store because you find a currency, like coinage, like a Mario coin type thing.
Yep.
And you can spend money on an online store. It's either like a random reroll or a random roll for certain items, or you can buy like basic items, ammo, health packs, stuff like that, in the currency that you find in the game, and also that you get from killing enemies or stealing from other players, like that. So like I said, that's some of the mechanics that I have in my head right now.
Yeah, no, that could be cool.
Also want to build the actual maps, like 4-foot foam towers with 3 levels of actual workable, playable map. I got a whole fucking plan of shit that I want to do, but like I said, it's one of those things. It's
you just gotta sit down and lock it out.
I gotta get the actual rule set, get the items done.
Cool.
Call up my buddy who's played games for years, and we're gonna play test some shit. Work some balancing in. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Like a great time.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it done.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I kind of want to record myself DMing it at the con, so I may bring my camera along and like actually record it and then post it on my YouTube, like the
Do
initial
it.
play or whatever.
The first real official playthrough of it. Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's fun. I love thinking of these games.
Mhm.
I like the D&D aspect of like creating a world or whatever. Um, I would love to make a video game too. That's just like I said. That's way down the line. I've got to complete other
And that
tasks
takes
first.
a lot of money.
Honestly, I don't think it does. Oh, well, depending. Let's throw an asterisk on this. I think if you did it a lot yourself or whatever, because like you can download Unreal 5 and work on it, um, and then I think the way it was explained to me, and I'm not 100% sure, but like once your game makes like $100,000, that's when you start paying Unreal or whatever. But you can use their system to make your game.
Mhm.
You basically download your system, start developing, and then like you put it on the store, and then once it hits X number of dollars, that's when Epic will take its cut or start taking a cut or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's how it works. So there's ways to do it. I've been looking at different things. Like I kind of wanted to do a side scroller beat 'em up, a la Streets
Okay.
of Rage, Double Dragons style
Okay.
game. I've got
Yeah.
a I've got a book. Well, I've got a book series that I've come up with about a group of commandos that are modified, so they're like mutants, I guess, and each one of them controls an element. Yeah,
Okay.
uh, and the actual book that I have follows one of the characters, but this is like a pre-saga where it's all the characters are together in their commando unit,
Yeah.
and it's that's a whole fucking universe I have in my head. Honestly, like those people spawned off of another book that I had idea that I have that I actually have handwritten 200 and some pages in a shoebox in my closet. I literally have 200 handwritten pages of this shit, uh, and that spawned into this idea. Anyway, like I said, it's I got fucking. It's
You know, if I was to
you know
actually set down
the
the pen and
fucking
paper of my light
yarn.
novel, it's about a foot and a half, two
Yeah,
feet tall of paper now.
yeah. The yarn meme from Always Sunny. That's me with my shit. It's all connected to this. You know.
Yep.
Uh,
It's all there.
yeah, and I tried, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to make like an actual Stan Lee Marvel universe style universe.
Mhm.
Shit's going on over here in this city, but it's also going on over here in this city, but it's in the same fucking universe, like
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, I hope that works out. I'm excited to see some of your
Yeah,
ideas start coming together.
yeah. And then, like I said, I got a bunch of them, and it sucks that I just keep thinking of new ones, and I stop thinking of the other ones too. Like I wish I had a person who was like, "It's like here's my idea, dude. Like it's a fucking great idea. Can you just work on it?" Like I wish I had a dude that I could just be like, "Dude, here I don't know. This is like a pile of like gold and scraps or whatever. Can you make
Yeah.
something cool with it?" I wish.
All right. Yeah. Take your ideas to somebody and let them
Yeah,
turn it into a brick of gold.
that's. I mean, I'd love to be able to do that, but that's
Get one out. That's all it takes. Start
yeah,
there. Get one out.
yeah. Like I said, the TTRPGs. That's the first one. That's the thing I'm gonna work on. I'd like to make like a hardcover rule book that I could sell.
Okay.
Just print a few of them out and sell them online or whatever. Just
Yeah.
here's my game system that I came up with to play it, and it's all these rules are optional. You can play it like this. You can play it as a one shot. You can play it as a continued campaign. Like there's ways that you can tell the story to keep it going. Just
Yeah.
the basic mechanics of a. So this is the tool
Yeah.
set.
That's awesome. Very, very
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway, like I said, it's a curse. It's a curse. It's a kind of a curse thing where I.
For as long as I've known you, it has been, hey man, I got this new idea. Hey man, dude, you got to check out this new idea I just thought of. So I was just sat down one day and then I wrote like 80 pages of this story. And oh yeah, now I'm gonna make a comic book. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start a burger business. And then it's
Yeah.
the man literally goes.
It's just all the
It's
time,
incredible to watch how your brain works.
It's nuts. I will say the burger thing. I did want to do it. I put it on the back burner.
Literally.
The more I thought about it, was like I'm gonna be. I don't have anybody else. It would literally just be me. I'd be doing every single thing from cooking to cash register to everything. I don't have a partner.
Mhm.
If I was married and had another person or a business partner or something, like I would be more comfortable doing it. But just doing it by myself, the more and more I looked into it, I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself trying to get
Look,
this.
I'm just gonna say this: is the girl that's staying with you, is she good looking?
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily the issue. It's just,
Well, I was just gonna
you know,
say is if she's not bad looking, she got a great front of house.
yeah. I mean, I'm living in a college town. I mean, I could hire a front of house. That's not the
Yeah,
biggest issue. The biggest issue is like
fair.
I got to do all the inventory. I got to do all the prep. I got to do all the cleanup. I got to do all the cooking. I got to do every single thing. And like in my brain, I didn't think it'd be that hard. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, that's gonna be pretty hard.
Yeah,
Um. So anyway, I put it on the back burner. It was just like it was a more huge investment.
yeah. Then
Which,
you originally.
well, I still figured 30 grand to get it started, and that's in the grand scheme of starting businesses. That's not that much, but still, yet if it's something that it hits up, that it'd just be harder to get out of, I guess. So
Yep,
I'm looking at something that's really simple, really easy to get into, fairly cheap, um, to get started on that.
yep.
To get myself in the my own boss situation, what I really want to do, because I figured out years ago you can't get rich working for somebody else.
And then you end up working for yourself, and it's never enough. You're always working for the next dollar because,
Yeah, I mean that's probably true too, but I'm hoping I can get in a position where I can grow the business enough so I can hire people to take over that part of the business, and I just collect checks, and write checks, and
yeah,
then get it started. Start the next thing. Kind of
yeah,
what I'm hoping for. Not just
makes sense.
not just maintaining and working my ass off. Like I'm actually wanting to move to a managerial.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I want to travel, bro. Like I'm almost 40 now. I'm ready. Like I've lived. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, but it kind of paycheck to paycheck. I can't afford to take off work.
Yeah,
Can't afford to go to. I could. I could if I wanted to,
yeah,
but I don't want to like put myself in a bind because of it like
it's
that. So
understandable.
yeah, and I got the opportunity to go to Mexico this fall. I want to take it. Um,
It's
yeah,
good.
travel around. I
I
want to
mean,
see some more stuff. Do some stuff that I've always wanted to do, and that's kind of another thing about the. I'm looking at like a mowing thing. I want to get out of the house. I'm stuck inside of a truck, sitting on my butt all day, inside of a cab of a truck. Then I come home and sit in front of these computer screens.
mhm.
Like, and for the
At least
longest,
I have to say I applaud you for not playing Truck Simulator on stream.
I've thought
I'd
about it.
probably come.
Here's the thing.
I would.
Years,
I would probably punch you if you did that.
couple years from now, if I after I get out of a truck or whatever, I may
Oh
play
god.
it. You know what I mean? Like I may be like, yeah, here's what a pro does shit or whatever. But
Pro Truck
yeah,
Simulator
right.
2028.
No, I feel better. I've turned things around on my health a lot in the last year and a half.
Mm,
I said this time last year, my dad had a heart attack. He's fine. Got a couple stints
mm,
in. Totally fine
yeah.
now. But it got me thinking. Heart disease runs in my family. I was a pack a day smoker. Wasn't really a heavy drinker. I'm a social drinker or whatever. But like I stepped on the scale and I weighed 275. I was like, ooh, that's as heavy as I've ever been my whole life. So immediately then I was like, okay, I gotta change. So I stopped eating the processed foods, heavily processed
Mm,
foods. I stopped buying. 'Cause I've been a bachelor for a long time, so I was buying like frozen chicken strips and frozen this and that, all this like heavily processed crap. And I kind of stopped that overnight. Started eating more raw foods.
mm,
Raw, I actually cook stuff. I actually
yeah.
prepare meals, and I started doing all this. I started intermittent fasting. I started watching what I was doing. I quit smoking. I lost 30 pounds or so. I sat around 240 for like 6 months. Uh, a month and a half ago at this point.
Mhm.
I I was like, okay, it's time for a more drastic change. So I started doing this carnivore diet. Um, I'm down 16 pounds right now in a whole shirt size. I can actually I feel thinner. I feel better about it. I've got another month and a half to go. I was going to do this for 90 days, see how I
Mhm.
feel. I continue doing it. Want to get a workout routine in, get off my butt, and actually start working out
Yeah.
before I hit 40 and try to get in some better shape. I've been a lazy piece of crap, and then like I was telling people today, like I've kind of been stuck inside the last 3 COVID and stuff, and
Yep.
like don't go out. I don't really do anything. Come home, I sit in front of these computer screens, and when I go to work, I sit behind the wheel of a truck all day. Don't really interact with people that much. I
Yep.
kind of want to get out of the house. I kind of want to get out of this rut or whatever it is that
Yep.
I'm in. So yeah, and the starting a business. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you. Yeah, smoking thing was, and honestly, like it's crazy. I was just in like the right headspace for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I went from I said a pack a day smoker. Uh, I started vaping, and that kind of cut the cigarettes out. I used the vapes to cut the cigarettes out, and then I got to a point where I ran out of vape juice, and I was like, threw it away. I was like, I'm just not gonna buy anymore, and I just didn't. Just quit cold turkey, and
That's great.
yeah, way
It sounds about like what my dad did.
yeah, and like I said, it's just being in the right headspace at the right time to
Uh-huh.
force that will on you because for the longest time I was like, I don't want to quit that bad, something like that. Didn't. But yeah, now I haven't smoked a cigarette since like December of 22.
That's
I'm
awesome.
over a year off cigarettes, and then I quit the vapes. Uh, July of last year or something like that,
Mhm.
middle of the summer. So I'm almost a
Yeah.
year without vapes. Yeah, I feel great.
That's great. That's really great, man.
Yeah, it's been like I said, it's been a ride for the last year, and ready to take my life somewhere else.
Great.
The podcast is another thing. I wanted to get back on that, and I have.
Yep. I've been proud of you seeing it pop up every Thursday, keeping it going.
I want to.
Stay consistent.
I need to start putting some more videos out and hit that algorithm. I guess where they start actually promoting my videos.
That's a
Do you
really
do
hard thing to
any?
do.
Do you do any kind of promotions? Do you pay for any kind of promotions? This is all just hobby stuff for you, right? You're not like trying to make a legit career out of the YouTube stuff and
Not at
or
all.
whatever.
I would never do that, even um, actively pursuing it. I plan on doing eventually doing some stuff for
Okay, for the book.
career like YouTube stuff, but it's more talking about the process of what I've been through.
Right.
Like from the beginning of starting this book idea to the very end. Like I'll eventually take people on this journey talking about what I did, how I did it, because if I open this up right now and I go because should be pulled up. Yeah, so right now in chapter 31, the storyboard is 12,914 words in just the storyboard. This is dialogue. This is they left to go walking somewhere. Blah 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 blah. It's got those types of tags in
Yeah.
it to whatever. Like it's the moving story. You can read this and you will know by the end of this 12,000 words what's gone on here. Um. So like for me, it's going to be talking about the process of how I put together this 100 chapter, 25 volume story together and hit the target at the very end of this thing. That's kind of what I want to
Yeah.
eventually do and walk people through the steps and maybe help somebody out who started it. You know, what did I learn along the way? What mistakes did I make? What would I wish looking back that I now know? You know, for me, a big one is don't buy a dev editor. If you're not doing like a one off novel, don't buy a dev editor. A
So,
development editor absolutely screwed me over.
okay, so what's a development editor?
So a development editor is an editor who is supposed to come in and help you refine your idea. The person I hired for this did not do that at all. They barely read the thing, and it was obvious when I eventually appealed this thing to get my money back. So basically, they're supposed to come through and they help you say, okay, this part's weak. The character's not very well defined. Just help you develop the story to make it better. That was a mistake I learned because that was a big chunk of money out for them to do literally almost no work to it.
Right.
It was everything was suggestive versus actually changing
Yeah.
and talking about, like, there was never a point where all right, I'll give you an example. Let's say I wrote a line that says Ace walked to the store. He wanted to go pick up a bottle of water. He walked to the edge of the street and forgot his keys for the car. In this sentence here, we could have done, there's multiple different ways of writing it and wording it. They might say, well, why couldn't this be told as in Ace walked out the door, but before he got to the car, he realized he was missing his keys. Could be a way that they write it. Right. But in the way this person would comment on it is, this sentence doesn't really make sense. It feels too... You could combine ideas. But they never showed an example of what they meant by, well, what idea was actually the part that needed to be combined? Was it the fact of the action I was walking? Were you walking to the car? Was it that you forgot your keys? It's really hard because I don't want to, I could give you straight up examples from the story, but I'm trying to not reveal that yet.
I'm following along. So basically they were being lazy, more or less. They were just trying to take your money. See,
and that's kind of what they did.
And that's the thing. Like, I've thought about that. I didn't actually know it was like a develop.
There's
editor or whatever. I didn't know that was what it was called.
Yes,
but I've kind of thought about something like that. So here's my pile of scraps. What can I do? Or can you fix it? Or I was kind of maybe find somebody like that, but I don't know if that's actually the thing. What's up, Bush? Welcome in.
You can definitely do that. Development editors, if you find a good one, they can help. But in my case, because they wanted to turn this into a Lord of the Rings novel, not a 55,000 word, we got to move. We don't have time to sit here and describe. Ace sat in his room. It was a little bit dark. Man. And in the background, there was a little bit of light coming from the edge of the crack of his window. The Rage Quit sign sat above his head. It's stuff like that. They wanted all this detail in setting. And it's like, I got 55,000 words. I gotta move to tell this story. I can't sit here to talk about the wisps of his hair slightly blue in the wind. I can't do that.
Michael Crichton book or whatever. See, okay, so I messed around with, and I'm still messing around with an AI writing assistant kind of thing. I like it. I've done a couple little short story stuff or whatever that I messed around with. I like it in the fact, like, you can type in whatever you want. You create your characters, you create your title or whatever, and it'll fill in some of the blanks on here and there. And then, like, you say, you generate, and like it'll give you a couple paragraphs that you can select from. You can pick this paragraph and it'll type this one out, or you can pick this one and it'll type this one. So it gives you like different options or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you don't specify the writing style, it will do this super detailed. They went into all this shit, and I'm like, that is not how anything works in my head. Mine is what is considered minimalistic writing style, which is very to the point, not a lot of flowery extra language shit in there. So I have to, now I've got it set to where I specified like minimalist blah 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 writing style, so it doesn't type out all that extra shit, but like it was doing like
deep
three full paragraphs about the way the dress flowed or some shit, and I'm like, fuck,
and
man.
that was literally a comment type things I was getting in those development edits, and I'm like,
that could have been he just put that shit in a freaking AI generator, and that's what he was sending it back to you too. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, to be
that
fair,
was
it
the
took
suggestions.
38 days, something like that, for them to get to it.
Doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, he could
Yeah.
have just copy pasted that shit, and I don't know if that's what they
Oh
actually
yeah.
did or not, but I mean,
No,
it's a
according
possibility.
to the girl that did it, she read through it and on a notepad. So, just like me, I'm a horrible habit of person who will write stuff down on paper. But I'm sorry. I think we all here, and hopefully you on YouTube and Twitch chat, all have an IQ above 6. All right? If I write something down on this paper here, and it says, character does this in their off time, they really enjoy eating grilled chicken. It's their favorite food, and they love to read mystery novels. But then you leave a comment on it and say, what does this person really like? What do they like doing? What's their favorite food? What do they like to read in their off time? Ace, I promise you, it took all my will to not punch the computer screen when I read the comment that literally was answered in the very next paragraph. It explained who this character was, what they enjoyed doing. It was the literal next one. But if we wrote this on a piece of paper like they said they did, why did you write this comment if you read the next line and you're typing it back out?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If we all have the IQ above 6 here, we should have known, oh, I wrote this note. Yeah, that's right. He answered it in the next paragraph. I don't need to type this question out.
Yeah,
It was
man.
the God moment. That
Yeah.
was where I literally was able to. I probably won 80% of that based off that one comment there. You can't avoid that.
Yeah,
So,
that sucks.
but that's what I want to do. Is I want to make it. I'll eventually make a YouTube series that will be in a more professional layout to explain my process of how I created the characters, how we told the story, how we lined it out, the whole aspect. That's where I'll eventually do we'll call it a career YouTube series. But for me, it's just posting videos, having fun. It's not about algorithms or anything like that. I've been there, done that. I don't care about that crap anymore.
Going back to the original question that I had, was the reason I asked was I tried and it didn't work, I guess. I was trying to promote a tweet just to see. So you can go in like once you're like a not verified, but like not like a blue check verified, but like a kind of verified or whatever. Anyway, once you've like double signed in or whatever the hell you got to do, you can promote your tweets. So I was trying to promote just to see what it was like. Promote like my YouTube video. Like I posted a podcast. I was going to promote the link, and it was like for $10 or whatever. It's like $10 for one day. You can hit between, it was like 670 views to like 2,000 or something.
Yeah.
I was curious to see if like I would actually get more clicks or whatever if I spent that money. But but Twitter wouldn't take any of my cards. Keep saying like card not recognized, card not whatever, blah blah. Like I tried all my credit cards, nothing would work. Like
the sad thing is it's working because I pay for the blue check mark.
Well, that's the thing. Like if I paid for the blue check mark, if I paid for a subscription, to be certified or whatever the hell, if I paid for that and it goes through my credit card, well then would it accept my credit card through that's my thing. Like maybe I should. I don't know. I wish it had like a, not necessarily PayPal, but some kind of PayPal like system. There's
Elon's working on it.
Yeah. Well, that's what
I mean, to be fair, PayPal is was his.
Right. Well, I like tagged him and was like, Elon, maybe you should rehire one of the account managers or some shit because you fired most of Twitter staff. Like maybe you should rehire this person that can actually accept money.
Yeah.
But I see. So the reason I kind of thought about this was there's a few VTubers because like my feed is like politics and VTubers. Like that's what my Twitter feed is. Because I just troll the shit out of politics stuff.
Yeah.
But I had seen a couple VTubers had posted like And they've got like debut in March, or like they got the date for their debuts coming up or whatever.
Mhm.
So they're like, it's a new VTuber kind of thing. But it also had like a screenshot uh, of their Twitch page where it was like shows their name and like how many followers
Mhm.
they've got or whatever. And it's like circled. So it's like that screenshot.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, they had like 100, like me, like 120 followers or whatever at the time. And I was like, cool, newer YouTube, newer VTuber, whatever. I'll throw a
Yeah.
follow in, see, because when you're growing like that, I kind of try to get in on tubers that do that
Yeah.
because I know how getting affiliate and stuff. So I try to kick at least my view over there, if anything,
Yeah.
to help them out. Um, so I click into it. By the time the post was up for like an hour or two. By the time I click into it, they're already up to 400 and something followers. And then by the time they streamed like that evening or the next evening or something. It popped up. Uh,
Yeah.
I jumped over. They were up to like 600 followers. So I'm thinking they promoted that tweet for their click through because like with no stream they gained 400 followers or whatever, something like that.
So that's also through the hashtagging system. If they did a hashtag debut, VTuber debut, if they
Right.
use the proper hashtags, the people that are hunting that will go to that thing. You probably just need to utilize hashtags better on Twitter.
Well, that may be true too, but yeah, my thinking was like
It may very well have been promoted too.
right. Well, it just showed up on like my for you. So I got like people I follow, and then like a for you.
Yeah, the
Kind of
For You tab was
the
because
algorithm.
you're simping VTubers, so they're
Yeah.
like, hey, we should probably get. He fits the demographic. Let's let Ace take a look
Right.
at this.
But like I
So
said, so that I mean, and if that's the case, like that was being promoted, it was somebody I did not follow, never heard of before,
yeah,
but that popped up. So anyway, that's why I'm curious about it. If I could, if I could pay 10, 15, 20 bucks or whatever and grab a couple hundred followers because my tweet's not out there, because that's the thing when you're trying to grow these kind of pages or whatever. I get people over here that come over, like Chloe came over because you're on the stream.
mhm,
And I've got other people that have come over because of other guests on the stream.
yeah,
And that's where the followers come from. It's kind of organic where I get guests on and their
yep,
followers come over and check out the channel and also want to follow. But as far as like just raw discoverability, it's
it's a
much
lot harder.
harder. It's much harder
Mhm,
to do. And I know that. And I'm not super consistent. I'm consistent every week, once a week. But it's not
yeah,
like every 3 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever it is. Like I'm not that consistent as far
yeah.
as that stuff goes. Same way, I was just curious if I could kick a little money here, kick a little money there, get my name out
I
there
haven't
more.
done it yet, but I know I have to put in. For me, I know I'm gonna have to go into the marketing aspect, and
Yeah.
I already expect it to be. It's $50 here, $100 here,
Right.
200 here, 500 there. It's gonna add up
Yeah.
quick, but
Well, that's kind of the thing with this business. I'm gonna dive into the marketing for the business, and
mm.
SEO is a term that I just learned. Search.
Search
Uh,
engine optimization.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
actually had a rando whisper to me on Twitch. Nobody ever whispers on Twitch. Like just this random person. It's not even following my account. Uh, like, hey, what's going on? I guess they were watching the stream I was on, but I don't know. Anyway, like, hey, what's going on? And went through all this stuff and then started asking about if I use Twitch Optimizer or whatever. And I'm like, this could be a possible scam or whatever. Not like I gave them any information. I was just like, hey,
yeah,
thanks. What's your idea? I didn't really talk to them.
yeah.
And they said something about Twitch optimization that I haven't really heard from them since. But
I
anyway,
mean, normally when I get a thing, it's something random. OnlyFans join my page.
I only get like, hey, do you stream? Do you need a graphic designer? Fuck me, man. Come on, are you serious?
Oh, those I have a great time with. I have a great time.
Well,
Literally
okay.
roasted one the other day.
I
It was
gave one
great.
of them. I gave one of them a job. I literally
Okay.
they asked, and I said, okay. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll try it. They cut me a deal or whatever, uh, $20 or whatever to make a logo, and they made
Yeah.
a shit clip art logo. I was not happy with it. I sent it back like 6 times. Like that's not anywhere close to what I wanted. Finally, I was just like, whatever, man, cool. And then like it took me a couple months, and they kept hounding me for like the extra money. They wanted $50 for that thing, and they kept hounding me, kept hounding me. And finally, I was like, here, hey, what? Here's the other $30 I owe you for that. Good job, I guess. And then I said, don't contact me anymore. Like I don't want to talk to you. I said, you did a shit job. I said, I'm not happy with the service whatsoever. And now anybody that's like, hey man, do you stream? I'm block.
Yep. I normally tell them, hey, look, I got to do jobs for Mercedes Benz and stuff like that. I never once had to go through a Discord DM to say, hey.
I mean, I kind of respect the hustle, I guess, but that's what it
But there's
is.
other places they can do that. Post on Twitter. Post on,
And it's
post
and
on those
it's those people
sites.
that I want AI to take over for. I know there's a big AI art. I use AI art. I don't care. But there's a big thing against AI art, and I'm like, well, people like that. And like I've said before, if you're a good artist, you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to lose your job in that shit or whatever. But if you're a shit hack that is trying to just make quick money off this shit or whatever, I don't care if you lose your job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's honestly people struggling that are in kind of the same boat, and I feel bad for them, but at the same time,
yep.
I'll just have that argument all day. People try to tell me that AI art is theft, and I say it's not, and then whatever. Well, they can only believe that's the polarizing thing in the world these days. They only believe what they want to believe, and I guess I'm
They
kind of
don't
in the
want to look
same
at
boat.
another potential.
Yeah.
There's two sides to everything. Be open-minded enough to look at both and go, okay, I'll hear you out.
Yeah.
I'm always open to hear somebody out. You can make a convincing conversation.
Yeah.
It's when you go full monkey on me is when I'm finally like, no, hold on, no, cut.
I
Have an
mean,
intellectual conversation with me about something. We'll go for it.
yeah, I'm in the same boat. Really, it's just it's just one of those things. Man, we are at 2.5 hours. It is 9:30 for you. You ready to pass out on me?
Getting there, but
In there.
I'm all right.
It's up to you, man. If you want to bail, we can shut her down. I don't want to keep you up too long. It's been a great. It's
Is
been
there
a
anything
great
else you wanted to?
2.5 hour conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's been
Was there
so
any
good.
other topic you really wanted to hit on real quick?
No, not really. I mean, we was kind of. I kind of want to touch on the business stuff, and like I said, the news is kind of the lubricant to get it started. It's just a
Yeah.
conversational podcast. Like I'm not a news podcast. That's not what I'm here
Yeah.
for.
And
I do
obviously
I do like talking about the news sometimes, and it's like a good roll into. But it's kind of a lubricant, just what's going on,
Yep.
and then we talk about whatever. That's kind of where I go with this podcast.
Yeah.
And I've heard here my other co-host wants me to. You should get a structure and like do a Word document about what topics you want to talk about, and I'm like, that's not really what I'm here for. What I'm here for is
So
conversational
I won't
podcast.
defend it completely, but what I
Right.
think, from what I would understand, is structuring it of more of like a show. Is
Yeah,
I think what he's wanting to, what he would be
yeah,
recommending is more to be. I would like to see you set up. Okay, so we're gonna have the intro, then we're gonna roll into the the 20-minute segment where we're gonna talk about Bob the Builder. Then we're gonna go and talk about Fox News Network, and then we're gonna talk about penguins in Antarctica, and then we're gonna talk about orca whales, and whatever. We're gonna talk about VTubers in the next segment. That there's a structured format that you know where you're wanting to go. Where I think what you should do, from the way I would look at it, is just do bullet points and go, all right, there's my bullet points for what I
yeah.
want to do, and then
It,
fire it off as it flows.
if I could see if this was a daily show that was an hour and a half long with ads, like an actual most daily shows and shit are on the internet. Like if it was actually that's supposed to be that long or whatever, and you hit 3 topics, you talk about them, but you stay on track and you get these 3 topics done or whatever. But for me, that's like I said, it's a lubricant or whatever.
Yep.
It's just a lubricant to keep the conversation going. If we can start go off on a tangent about shit for 45 minutes to an hour, I don't care about the rest of the topics.
You would
We can
rather
learn
have that.
Yeah, I would much rather have a more organic conversation. That's just what I want.
That's great.
Um, and like I said, if it gets slow and we're not really feeling it, I can jump into
Yeah.
the news and be like, "Hey, let's check. There's some new trailers. You want to check out some new trailers?" Like, so I've got
Mhm.
a kind of a system to, and also, uh, there's kind of a point where like if I find a cool and interesting story that I see throughout the week, and like maybe you didn't see it, I kind of want your reaction too. Like, here's
Yeah.
this story. What do you think about this story? So this is like
React
your
to
live
this.
reaction to
Yeah.
this story.
No, I
Um,
love your idea for it, and
yeah,
I'm hoping as every episode comes out, you gain a little more traction to it. People get more interested in it to where next thing I know, Mayonnaise Chase is the next Joe Rogan, and I'm going, wow, I remember when he had 2 viewers in his chat and
right.
talking about random.
And
And
that
then now you're
like I
bringing in
said,
big celebrities.
I
It's gonna be cool.
and so like I guess probably some of the next things I want to do is start uploading the videos to. I've got Mayonnaise Chase on Kick and I've got Mayonnaise Chase on Rumble. I've locked down my names on these other places. I may look at Spotify or something like an actual podcast network or whatever kind
Mhm.
of thing, and actually start uploading my stuff to multiple different platforms
Yeah,
aside from YouTube and Twitch. Um, and then also multi-streaming to multiple different platforms. I'm kind of wanting to get into that, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to get a kind of steady viewership of 5 viewers tonight's really good. Like I've had some pretty good consistent streams. Some of them still drop down around to one. One or two people show up. People get busy. It's fine. I'm not
yeah,
blaming them. I'd like to have some consistent streams where I know if I'm trying to stream out to other like basically to justify spending the money because you got to buy the premium version of Streamlabs or whatever other
mhm,
streaming service I may end up
which is
going.
what I do.
You got to pay for a premium version of that to stream to multiple platforms or
Yeah, like
jump through a bunch of hoops. I guess you can do it, but you got to jump through a bunch. So,
it starts taxing your computer pretty hard when you're doing it. And I'd be honest, is like, for me, it's a time thing for me in trying to get on here because you normally start around what, 8?
7 Central,
7?
so 8 your time.
Yeah. So you're normally starting at 8 p.m., which normally around 7:30, 8 p.m. is when I
Yeah.
start looking at turning off my Wi-Fi on my laptop. It's my last like hour before bed, and that's normally where I'm going in. I'm trying to wrap up for tomorrow morning, get things to where because with Scrivener I can like set notes to the side and go, okay, hey, I'm gonna be I need to write this tomorrow. I want to start here. Don't forget this idea you had here. For me, I might get too deep into it. Like, okay, I'm gonna go sit at 8. I'm gonna be in his chat.
Right.
9:45. Wow, where'd that time go?
Right.
And just life happens and like writing stuff for that. So
I arbitrarily picked Thursdays.
mhm,
I told my buddy, I said, well, it's not Fridays. If we plan anything for the weekends, a lot of times, like if I plan stuff for the weekends, it's like going to my folks. I leave on Friday night. And I'm gone all weekend. My
yeah,
thing was Friday, Saturday, Sunday was kind of out. So I thought
Thursdays work.
Thursdays was fine. I'm kind of hitting some roadblocks because other people I'm inviting on a stream also stream on Thursdays.
Mhm,
Um, so I'm trying to do this juggling act tonight. Tonight worked out pretty good. I started an hour early, so you could jump
mhm,
on. There's another streamer. She's also streaming on Thursday. I'm wanting to get her
mhm.
on. She's agreed. She wants to do her own podcast. I said, well, you can come on mine, kind of see how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
They say if you don't like it, whatever. I mean, it's just kind of an experience thing. I've been a sub in her chat for over 2 years now, or something like that.
I'm
Yeah, well,
kidding.
Uh, but anyway, so just kind of wanted to chill and talk to other streamers. And she's an art streamer, not a
Mhm.
VTuber.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
cool.
like I said, I follow a lot of VTubers still. Like I don't know why. Like I think about it, like man, I don't know why I'm following all these VTubers. Like I can't even keep up.
You
But
enjoyed
anyway,
him.
um,
I
so
still like your model. It was cool. He's a cool
yeah,
dude.
I wanna update him, and I've another pie in the sky idea down the road is like to update Titus and give him his own lore, and then like make a Titus show where I
Yeah.
just play that character.
Yeah.
Um, but that's just like I said, it's on top of all
Another
the other
idea.
spinning plates that I want to keep spinning. It's just another fucking thing. Same with Aya. Like Aya's in the chat right now, which is great. But I would love to be able to have Aya have her own model, like a Neurosama style
Yeah.
co-host. But that's more coding and technology that I don't know how to mess with right now, and I want to learn it, but I also have a million other things I want to learn too. So, you asking Aya something?
Yeah.
So, have you messed around with the? Did you see the Tangia channel point things? Did I show
Yeah,
you that?
I've checked these out. These are
Yeah,
awesome.
I like those that thing pretty well. I lowered all the prices finally. Like, so, uh,
Yeah, no,
so
you've got some
Hey there, Nightingale
I won't be able to hear it,
1176.
but
right.
Absolutely pumped for the new fairy
no, because I
tale
messed with these the
season.
other time during
Can't
one of your
wait to see
streams
all the magic and
on the
adventures
other account.
unfold.
Because it's very
It's
rare you
going
see
to
me
be
in this
epic.
chat. Because
Right.
again,
Let's
this
get ready
one
to get enchanted.
is my main PC account, and then I have the other burn account that I use um, for just hanging out in people's chats and lurking and trolling people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I recognize your sub account too. So, but yeah, no, it's for me, the pot. What was I talking about? We was talking about something. Oh yeah, Aya. The Aya thing was.
Yeah.
I'd like to have her own model, or at least a PNG version, and be able to where you could hear Aya on everything. Like if I'm you
Hmm.
can hear her in the Discord call along with
Yeah.
or whatever. And like, there's got to be a way to move the audio to the Discord call, and then Streamlabs would be able to just capture what was being said in the Discord call
Yeah.
anyway. Moving that audio around, I got to work on that stuff. But
Virtual audio cables, most likely.
yeah, and that's the thing too. So that's along with the other complete PC system.
Mhm.
I want to build a new PC system, but I also want to work on the audio. Um, and I don't know, like I keep getting back to, and I know you're a big audio guy. I keep going back to the should I buy actual cable stuff? What is it called? There's a name for it, right? The actual like using the actual plug-in.
Mixers? Yeah, like an actual mixer type setup
Yeah,
versus
yeah. Not digital, not USB, but whatever the other one's called.
yeah,
Actual mixer.
an analog mixer.
Yeah, analog mixer. Yeah.
In this day and age, eh, it really wouldn't be worth. I'm gonna be real.
Well, so I've been looking at this. I saw a review and like a demonstration of that Beacon. I think
Yeah.
it's called Beacon or something like that. Which was it's the dev team that created the XLR was helped create the XLR.
Hmm.
Um, so as part of that dev team broke off and made their own system, and that's that Beacon thing.
Yeah.
Uh, so it comes from them, but it's all through USB. So you plug a USB C cable into the back of that, and it runs to your
Mhm.
PC, and then that turns your PC into the modulator kind of thing, where all the audio sources that go into the back of the PC are now cycled through that thing.
Yeah.
So your microphones, your headphones, all that stuff that's plugged into your PC through USB ports
Yep.
runs over to this beacon, and then you can control them all from there.
Yeah.
And you've got buttons to do sound effects and records and all this like different things. That's with. I
It's
want one
awesome.
of those, and they're about $200. It's not terrible. Um, so I thought about buying one of those. Yeah, of course the Steam Decks and the lighting. Like another thing I want to invest in more is like I've got these cheap ring lights right now. I want to
Mhm.
get some actual like legit diffuse lighting in here, so
It's right behind there.
I won't be washed out. And like
Behind that webcam is 1,000-watt film light.
I don't know if it's see on the viewfinder for because I've got like it's a Canon handy cam thing or
Yeah.
whatever. The actual viewfinder shows my lighting is good, but the actual screen is much darker. Like the contrast is turned up or turned down or
Mhm.
whatever. And I don't know how to mess with that. Not really. I've messed with some of
I
it.
kind of do.
I messed with some of it in Streamlabs, but
Yeah.
anyway, like I said, I've got a ring light literally right here with within a foot of my face, and it still looks like I'm in kind of a dark room, really.
Because a ring light is meant for up close personal thing. The light that I'm using right here is literally it's a foot and a half. I think it's actually an 18-inch box light that I'm running a diffuser over, and that's what's lighting me here. But yeah, it's a 1,000-watt light, but I've got it on. It's a dimmable LED, and I think it's on like 8%.
Yeah. See, that's what I want to put some actual diffuse lighting up and stuff like that.
And then if you notice, for those, some of y'all might be able to see it. Right there, you can see a kind of a glow on my headset. There's another 1,000-watt sitting off over there that's at about 40%. That's got a heavy orange glow CTO put on it.
Yeah.
That's aiming this way to light me this way. So, I mean, there's a lot more light in here than what's being pumped off of a single ring.
Yeah. Well, that's also the big thing, too, because, like, if my screen is, like, I've got a white background on the screen, I actually have my face looks better with, like,
because you're pumping more light into the scene.
Yeah, if it was dark mode, like that's just like my background is kind of gray. So if I open the window back up, though,
it lights you back up because you just need more physical light.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the next thing. I got a little. I actually went cheap. I was like, I'm gonna try this because they make a deal that goes up over your monitors. It's like. Bar or whatever, and I looked them up online. I saw an advertise for it. I looked them up online. I was like, man, that's exactly what I want. And you can hang like cameras and stuff off of it and microphones. Like it's got all these attachments. But that thing costs like $150. And I was like, man, for like 3 pieces of metal, screw that. I went and spent $15 at the dollar store for a roll around clothes hanger, like portable clothes rack thing. And set it on my desk and then started hanging my cameras. It works. It's a little too flimsy. Like, so I bought the actual like clamps that I forget the brand order. It's like the actual clamps that clamp to stuff like this. And and then you could put your camera mount attachments on it or whatever and move them around. Yeah. I bought those, but I go to cranking them down too much and I start like collapsing them.
Pinching the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the metal's too thin walled. So I either maybe buy a heavier metal one or buy one of the actual things, build one.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. And then that way I can hang I've got another camera. So I've got a camera right in front of my monitors. Then I've got a webcam mounted up there on that thing that's like let's sit on here.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is camera.
Yeah, that's my other camera angle. And you can see the light really washes out on that camera, like it's really bright on that one.
So you got different exposures. So you need to change your exposure of the one that I'm seeing on Discord. You need to lower the exposure on the one that was just on stream. And because you have 3 cameras?
Well, that's the 2 right now. I have a third cell phone that I will remote in sometimes.
Okay.
Plugged in right now.
No, I mean, you don't need to do that. So, between the 2, this one, you need to change the ISO settings on this camera.
Yeah.
And you need to lower them on the other.
I bought it thinking it would be a good like webcam. It's not. It's not really set up that way. I'm actually looking for some better I may buy me a better style camera, digital camera. This was also a couple years old, and how camera technology gets it runs out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I may buy me a better camera down the road and mount it instead.
Okay.
Yeah, I got more office room plans and stuff. I started doing the podcast in my house with Eli live, like live in studio and stuff. I even bought these like lavalier mics, which I showed you. Anyway, but Eli, after like one time he did it from home. He was sick, or I was sick, or we were both kind of sick, so we decided to stay away from each other. And then he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll just stay at home." I'm like, "You live a block and a half away." He literally lives a block and a half away from me.
Yeah.
But I wanted to build an actual like podcast set.
Yeah.
and set it up with chairs and like a table between us and like that. And I still kind of do, but we'll see what happens then.
Yeah. Make his butt come over.
Or
Like,
just
you can
you
do
know,
this.
not only that, just other if I ever get any other guests in town or whatever, and have an
Yeah.
actual
Work on
podcast
it.
set.
Make it moody. Make it look cool.
Yeah, I got some more ideas down the road, but
That's
I
awesome.
don't know. I'm trying to do this, trying to stay consistent. Like 13 weeks in a row, really good. You wasn't
Congratulations.
here the last week. I think it was 2 weeks ago or something like that. I did. I got my King of Spades over there, Jay Thomas. He
Mhm.
was on the first couple episodes of the original podcast.
Yep.
He passed away last year, so I kind of did a in memoriam to him.
Yep.
And I need
remember him.
to go back through and I've privated those podcasts
Yeah.
on the channel. I need to go back through and like re-upload or something. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with those.
Yeah.
Some reactions or commentary about them.
Yeah.
Missed the dude.
Yeah.
He was gonna be the original like co-host or whatever, and it just
Life happens.
I couldn't stick with it as much. We both got busy and whatnot, but yeah, no, it's I'm digging this. I like having guests on. I like
Yeah. Absolutely.
Eli's just crazy enough sometimes that we bounce off each other pretty well.
Oh
We
yeah.
butt heads too, but it's fine.
Part of life.
I'm also gonna be on. I got invited on another podcast that's going on right now. They also stream at the same time on Thursday.
Okay.
In April, I think April 4th, I'm gonna be on their podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, April 4th. So 3 weeks from now, I'm gonna do an early stream of this podcast at like 5 or 6 or something. Start a couple hours early and then enroll and jump over to
Into
their
theirs.
podcast and
Okay.
do their stuff.
Cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun. It'd be great to kind of branch out and start meet more podcasters and stuff. And I'm looking forward to it. Like it's fun.
Networking.
It's kind of what I've always wanted out of this was to create a community and meet more like-minded people, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
I get that.
Yeah, that was the whole point of this was just to make more friends. And I enjoy it. It's like the podcast.
Friends.
I enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy all
Yeah.
of it.
No, I mean it's fun to sit and listen and hear where you go. I've enjoyed listening to them when I do get to them.
Oh yeah,
Keep doing what you do.
I'm glad everybody's here in chat too. Thank you everybody for dropping in. We're probably gonna go ahead and end it. Nightingale is fading on me. I can see it in his eyes.
I've been up since 2 a.m. So
yeah.
it's almost 10 p.m. for me.
Yeah. You're fading fast, old man. Fading fast. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing.
Hopefully this year that ends. Hopefully. I've got to get it done.
That was the wrong thing.
But no, it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining. And like I said, hopefully we get you back on again.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing these conversations with
Just
you.
give me a heads up.
Yeah.
I need a little bit of heads up. Don't spring it on me the day of.
Yeah, no, I try. I mean, I don't know.
I might be around and be like, yeah, sure. I can.
Really would like to plan out like 2 or 3 weeks in advance and have guests and stuff already lined up. I just haven't had the chance really.
Yeah.
And I'm reaching out to people I know personally. Like I haven't got to the point where I'm reaching out to new people yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when. Like I don't know if I need to have a bigger following or what. I don't really. So if you ever have any suggestions or anything for guests on the podcast, send them my way.
Okay.
Find me on Twitter, Mayonnaise Chase. Twitter. Find me on Twitch, on my YouTube channel. I guess I don't know what to be the easiest way to get a hold of me. Probably Twitch or Discord. If you're in a similar server or whatever. Yeah, man.
Make sure to follow, and subscribe. Toss a coin to your Witcher. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't looked at anybody to rate out to. I'm going to go ahead and call it an end right here, though, so I can put a stopping point on the actual recording that I upload. And I'm going to kind of try to find somebody to rate out to, but this is the official end. It actually ended a minute ago. So thank you everybody for jumping in and sticking around and listening to me ramble on and on and on about shit.
Thanks for putting up with my crap.
Thank you, Nightingale, for joining us. Eli is hopefully still alive somewhere. Maybe.
Yep. Hopefully Apex Legends did not claim him.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been really fun. So thank you all for coming. Be sure, do the following thing. Like, give me a follow. Come check us out next time. Come go check out my YouTube page. It's just got the podcast up there. One of these days I'll get active and actually start clipping out the podcast sections and actually uploading the segments. I want to do that. I just that's kind of it. Check out my Twitter for my random political stuff that I post on there sometimes, and my answering VTubers when they post horny shit. And I'm doing this. I'm following one VTuber that just posts horny shit all the time, just for like farming interactions. Like a 5 million, they got like 500,000 followers or some shit. So they're farming those interactions. You know, would you blah 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 if I was nude or blah blah blah? And I just type it. Just my reply is just interactions. You know, I just type that and like every one of their posts, and because that's all they're doing, they're just farming interactions and engagement. So I just type that in now, and I've been getting likes off of just me typing in interactions.
That is awesome.
So I enjoy it. I have never really been much of a troll. Well, I mean, I've always been a troll, but I've never like publicly done it a lot, I guess.
Yep, but, you've made it there now.
Yeah. Checking out another episode of Intelligent Aces podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube and go follow us on Twitch and X. And all the rest of our socials will be posted down below. Thanks.